friends, welcome back to my channel. I am the Nosy Witch and this is my channel, Nosy Witch Tarot. I do collective pick a card readings here on YouTube, but today's reading is all about why people can't seem to stop staring at you and what they're actually thinking when they do. So if you've ever noticed people looking at you a lot, maybe even staring, and you've wondered, why is that happening? Why is this person staring at me? This reading is for you because the chances are you are not imagining this. There's something about your energy right now, something in your aura that's drawing people in. And today we are going to explore what that is, what people notice first, what is going through their minds, and why they keep on looking at you. Now, maybe for some of you, people are staring at you because you are wearing some really beautiful crystal bracelets. Oh no, wait, that's me. But it could be you. Okay guys, before we get into today's reading, I quickly wanted to shout out an amazing company who have very kindly sent me these astrology themed crystal bracelets. I am so excited to be working with Otter because honestly this partnership could not be more perfect for my channel. The bracelets literally arrived as I was filming this crystal themed reading, which felt very fated. So the collection is called Designed by the Stars, which I just think is such an adorable concept. Basically you can customize a trio of crystal bracelets based on your big three or any significant placements in your chart. For me, I did it around my sun, moon and rising sign. As an astrology lover, I was immediately obsessed with this concept. So for reference, I'm a Scorpio Sun, Taurus moon and Capricorn rising, and I ended up choosing Carnelian for confidence and creativity to represent my Scorpio Sun, Rhodonite for self-love and softness to represent my Taurus moon, and Australian jade for abundance, success and grounding into that Capricorn rising boss energy. And I just love how customizable everything is with Otter Spirit. I think this is a really nice idea because with other things, I'm thinking of like birthstones, I think often we can feel a bit limited because it's usually only one or two colours associated with your birth month. But with these, there's like an actual curated selection for each zodiac sign. So you can really choose pieces that resonate with your personality and your intentions. I also thought that this colour combination was so beautiful for summer. I think these bracelets would make a gorgeous personalised gift if you have someone in your life who loves crystals, astrology, spirituality, jewellery. It just feels a little bit more thoughtful and personal. And their website is genuinely really easy to navigate as well. You can actually shop by zodiac sign, by intention, by chakra, or by gemstone, which I just thought was really cool because it means there are loads of different ways to find something that resonates with you. They also have other jewellery pieces too, not just bracelets. And as you can see, everything comes really beautifully packaged inside the box. Each bracelet is carefully wrapped and every crystal comes with its own little information card explaining the symbolism of the gemstone and the associated zodiac signs and a cute little affirmation and intention, which again, as someone who loves astrology and crystals, I was absolutely eating that up. I really appreciate that the bracelets can be worn individually or you can stack them depending on what you need for that day, whether it's confidence or self-love or grounding or abundance or whatever else. You can make a really cute cohesive colour story. Another thing I appreciate is that the bracelets come in different sizes because often I tend to find with like stretchy crystal bracelets, a lot of the time it tends to be like a just one size fits all sort of deal, but Otter Spirit actually offers small, medium, large and extra large. There is a full sizing guide, I believe, on their website. For reference, I'm personally wearing a small, but honestly, regardless of the bracelets being pretty, the thing that genuinely made me want to work with this company is their commitment to helping protect wild sea otters. As you guys know, I am an absolutely huge animal lover, and the second I saw that Otter Spirit works with the Monterey Bay Aquarium and donates $1 from every product sold towards protecting wild sea otters in California, I was immediately interested because when you think about how many huge companies make millions and still don't bother giving back to any kind of conservation or charity work, it genuinely makes me want to support smaller businesses who are actually making that effort. That matters a lot to me personally, so I was very happy to support this company. Not only are the gemstones gorgeous, but the quality is genuinely really high too. According to their website, all gemstones are naturally and ethically sourced with authenticity testing done both internally and through third-party experts. Now I thought, okay, that's all very well and good, Otter Spirit. However, I personally have my own third-party methods for quality testing, which includes a full beak inspection by my chickens. So naturally I wore the Australian jade bracelet around them because they're obsessed with anything green, and I thought if these bracelets can survive a poultry attack, they can survive anything. And I can confirm not only did the bracelets survive the chicken inspection, they survived without a single scratch. 10 out of 10, no notes. But on a serious note, what I appreciated a lot throughout this whole process was that Otter Spirit encouraged me to give a completely honest review, which just says to me that they know that their products are good quality, and I am inclined to agree. And I hope you guys do know that I would only ever agree to work with companies that genuinely align with me and my channel. I have declined certain companies before, not because the companies were bad, but just because they didn't really make sense for my audience or my channel. but this genuinely felt so perfect because it combines crystals, astrology, spirituality, jewelry, and helping animals, which are basically all of my favourite things rolled into one. So if you guys do want to check them out, I will leave everything linked below, including my affiliate codes. You can get 20% off with the code NOSYWITCH20 off of any order, or you can get 30% off for orders over $99 with the code NOSYWITCH30. And thank you so much again to Otter Spirit for sending these over because I just think they are so beautiful and I can't wait to wear them more. With that said, for today's reading, we are working with both tarot and oracle cards, and we're starting with something a little bit different. Instead of choosing from the back of the tarot card deck and the sticker, you will be choosing from these beautiful crystals today. I want it to be on theme. So if you are a crystal lover, whether you're a girly, you're a guy, you're a non-binary, rock enthusiast, you'll know that different crystals carry different energies and associations. So whichever crystal you feel most drawn to today might reflect the energy you're currently irradiating, the first thing people pick up on when they notice you, and the kind of aura you are giving off right now overall. So think of this portion as a little bit of an energy check at the start of your reading. Now, if that initial description doesn't resonate at all, feel free to choose another pile. Or alternatively, this reading might just not be for you today, and that is completely fine. You are welcome back to the next one. But remember, that first section is really just the starting point. We will be diving much deeper with the tarot and with more oracle cards as we go. And as always, you are very welcome to choose more than one pile. If you were drawn to more than one pile, you can choose multiple, or you can come back another time and see if you're drawn to something different. Your energy shifts, and so might your choice. This reading is more focused on the why rather than a specific who, but if someone in particular is coming through, we might pick up on that as well. I will mention it if that's the case. I'd also love to know which crystal you picked and whether the energy matched how you've been feeling lately. I'm very nosy, as you know, so please let me know in the comments. And of course, this reading is timeless. Whenever you find it is when it's meant for you. So with that said, we have 5 piles to choose from today. Over here, we have pile 1. That is the beautiful rose quartz, and we are going to be using the Considerate cat tarot. Over here, we have pile 2 with the beautiful Barite crystal, and we are going to be using the modern witch tarot. Over here, we have pile 3 with the beautiful Malachite crystal, and we are going to be using the Lightseer's tarot. Over here, we have pile 4 with the beautiful Bloodstone crystal, and we are going to be using the Britt's Third Eye tarot. And over here, we have pile 5 with the beautiful Honey Calcite crystal, and we are going to be using the Lovely Ladies tarot. So take your time and see which one calls to you. If you want to pause the video to reflect on your choice, you are more than welcome to. With that said, once you've chosen your pile or piles, head to the description box or the pinned comment below. Timestamps will be listed there and they will take you to the start of your chosen reading. Just a very quick reminder here, these are general readings, so not everything will resonate, nor would I expect everything to resonate. Just take what feels right for you and leave the rest for somebody else. I do tend to give some quite specific examples sometimes, but my examples are never there to box you in, they're more to just paint a picture of the overall energy and provide context. You are meant to take the examples and apply them to your personal situation. It's more really about the energy. Also, because we are doing a reading that looks at how other people are perceiving you and why they are staring at you, that is sort of based around their opinion. So just remember that someone else's opinion or interpretation of you doesn't have to be your truth unless you claim it as such. This reading is meant to be fun, it's meant to be a little bit nosy, maybe a bit of a confidence boost, but it's not something that should be making you feel anxious or self-conscious. So if you're not in the headspace to hear other people's perspectives right now, that's okay, trust your intuition and come back another time. But if you're here for the tea, then you're very welcome, and I think we're going to have a lot of fun with this one. Anyway, before we get started, I just want to very kindly ask that if you enjoy this reading today, if it resonates, if it makes you smile, or it just gives you a little boost, I would really, really appreciate your support. Liking, commenting, hyping, sharing, subscribing helps my channel grow more than you could ever know. And on a personal note, I just love hearing your stories. You guys can never overshare with me, I promise. With that said, any unkindness, bigotry, or unnecessarily negative energy in the comments will be swiftly banished, rebuked, and returned straight back to sender. This is a safe space, and that includes this being a safe space for me as well. With that said, kindness is always welcome here. You are welcome to share whatever you like, as long as it's done so with compassion in mind. Alright, with that said, I really hope you guys enjoy this reading today. Take care, and I will see you at your chosen pile. Hi Pile 1 Collective, if you chose the Rose Quartz crystal and you chose the Considerate Cat Tarot, you are in the right place. Welcome to your reading, friends. This reading is titled Notice People Staring at You, here's what they're thinking. So if you would like a full breakdown of everything this reading will cover, please check out my introduction. I go through absolutely everything there. I will also leave some details in the pinned comment below for your reference. I recommend checking at least one of those out so you know what to expect from this reading today. With that said, you are clearly drawn to this beautiful rose quartz crystal, so let's start there. We're going to start off with a little energy check. We're looking at what it might mean in terms of your aura that you are drawn to this rose quartz crystal. And we're going to be looking at why people can't seem to stop staring at you right now. So let's turn this over and have a look at the meaning. So, rose quartz, what it is, rose quartz is love in rock form. Who needs it? The overly self-critical, sentient spiritual beings who love deeply, those in the healing arts or those who want to be. Where to put it? In spaces you want to zone safe and sacred, held with both hands to your heart with the utmost loving kindness. When to use it? When you feel like you always have to be the one to have it all figured out, to work the hardest, to hold it all together for everyone else. Rose quartz gives us a pink cashmere covered platform to be soft, sweet and open to spirit. Take care of your heart. Okay, pile one, there is so much Venusian energy here. Some of you could have strong Libra or Taurus placements. I'm also getting Cancer. Or you could have strong Venusian energy in your chart. I'm thinking Venus in the first house or conjunct the ascendant, Libra rising, or just a chart where Venus is really prominent or heavily aspected. You don't need to know your chart for this to apply, but there is definitely something about your energy and aura that is very Venus coded. And I'm getting random little details here as well. Some of you guys could look really, really good in pink, or some of you could benefit from rose water in your skincare or your rituals. I'm even getting like pink Himalayan bath salts. Oh, there's just something very soft and luxurious and self-care and romantic orientated about your energy overall. And I'm just going to say it straight up. Like, let's address the elephant in the room. One of the biggest reasons people stare at you is because you are just genuinely gorgeous. Like, there's no way around that. This is just a fact for this pile. Don't argue with me, pile one. Like, for a lot of you, you know, this isn't new. You've probably had people staring at you your whole life. Sometimes even to the point where it's been a bit uncomfortable, I would say. There is something very sort of love at first sight about you guys, and I don't even mean it in just a romantic way, although yes, of course, people do probably crush on you a lot, but it's more like people see you and instantly feel drawn to you in some way. It's like they're very curious and they just want to be closer to you. They want to be around your energy. And I think a big part of that is because your aura isn't just giving attractive, although you are attractive, it also gives like safe and loving. There's something about you that feels actually really warm and really comforting and really non-judgmental as well. So it's not just that people are looking at you because you're beautiful, it's that they also feel like you are, or you would be, a safe person to be around. And what's interesting as well is that when I was referencing your tarot deck, which is also pink, like that's very Venusian as well, I don't think I picked this one deliberately because it matched, it just happens to. But anyway, I kept wanting to call the Considerate Cat Tarot, I kept wanting to call it the Compassionate Cat Tarot, which isn't like a massive difference, it was just a word fumble. But yeah, I feel like the word compassionate could be really relevant here. There's something about you where people can just sense that you have a big heart and that you care really deeply, you feel really deeply. And I think it shows in just the way you move through the world, to be honest, pal one. And it could be in basic interactions, like the way you speak to people. You could be very gentle or very patient or very thoughtful, like the way you handle little everyday mundane interactions. Somebody could see the way you talk to your kids or the way you interact with a dog you meet on the street, or you just being kind to someone in the service industry, and it stands out. It's not like in a forced way, it's not like performatively being nice to someone, it's just naturally how you are, and people really notice that and they kind of admire it. There's something about you that feels very kind-hearted and very considerate, referencing the tarot deck you chose, and very emotionally aware, and yeah, it just makes people feel at ease around you. And yeah, I think it just shows up in these really everyday ways. I'm also getting the example, I don't know why this is coming through, but this could have happened to you guys before, if you've ever gotten on a bus or something. I'm imagining someone getting on a bus and there are like multiple empty seats, but not double empty seats, like the seats are taken, like the window seat is taken or whatever, and they have to sit next to someone. Or maybe sometimes it is literally empty seats and like people sit next to you and you're like, oh, all these like double seats are empty, why are you sitting next to me? But I'm thinking of like the window seat is taken up, right? And they need to pick an aisle seat and they're scanning around the bus and being like, okay, who looks like the safest person to sit next to? And somehow it's always you. Like, even if there are other options, it's like people always pick you. And for you, that might actually be a bit annoying sometimes, especially if you guys are, you know, more on the introverted side. You don't have to be, but if you are, or like you just want to be left alone, or you've got your headphones in, just trying to zone out or whatever, you're trying to mind your business and people still approach you or start talking to you. But it's because there's something about you that feels very friendly and approachable, even when you're not trying to be. And I'm hearing that line when people say like, oh, it's nice to see a friendly face. There could be something about your smile or your eyes or just your overall expression that denotes like sweetness and kind of softness. Like people feel as though they can talk to you or open up to you. And then on top of that, there's your actual physical appearance, regardless of like aura. There's something about your features actually being really harmonious, like everything just works together. So you could have very soft, feminine, lush features, maybe nice lips or nice curves, or just a softness and a purity to your face or your eyes. And, you know, even if there are certain features you guys personally feel insecure about, I'm getting that those are often the exact things that people find most beautiful. There's this energy of people staring at you and saying like they can't be real, like they can't be real, they can't really be that beautiful. So maybe your skin or something looks really smooth, almost like a filter in real life, or your overall look just feels a bit unreal, but in a good way. And even if you guys like don't consider yourself conventionally attractive, there is something about your face that just has a really high level of harmony. People say you're just very easy to look at, like people genuinely enjoy looking at you. There's something very muse-like is what I want to say about your beauty. And I'm picturing Kate Winslet in Titanic right now. I'm picturing her being painted, that scene. Very like classic, very timeless, very romantic. People could actually look at you and think you look like a goddess or an angel or someone like out of a Renaissance painting. There's this very like Aphrodite, Venus kind of energy here. And this is really random, but for some reason I'm also thinking of I watched it recently. I'm thinking of Georgie from Love on the Spectrum. Not that you have to look like her, but there's something about that same kind of beauty where it's very soft and calming. Like, I find even the way she speaks, I think she's gorgeous, but I think even the way she speaks, it's like very gentle and soothing. Some of you could have that same effect on people, like your presence alone is very calming. You could literally be the kind of person where you are just sitting in a coffee shop minding your business and someone wants to draw you or paint you or write a poem about you. Yeah, there is something very romantic about your energy, almost like, oh, I saw this person once and I can't stop thinking about them. You might suit things like velvet or lace or silk or draped fabrics, that kind of soft romantic aesthetic. But at the same time, you don't have to be like a femme at all, or you don't have to be super girly for this to apply. Even if your style is like more edgy or unconventional, you have this ability to just make things work. Like people look at you and they might think, I could never wear that, but somehow you pull it off. So people could stare at your outfits and be like, how does that work for them so well? Like that could never work for me. So you never look out of place anywhere. Like you match your environment, you understand how to put a look together and how to like match energy. And honestly, it doesn't really matter whether you're dressed up or not. You just look good all the time. And I'm literally hearing that Kerry Hilson line from the Turn My Swag On remix. But she's like, every time they see me, I look good, or something like that. Every time people see you, you look good. And it doesn't matter whether you're in full glam or you're just in your sweatpants running errands. People are still looking at you. And I know for some of you that might make you a bit self-conscious. Like maybe you bump into someone when you don't feel ready and you're like, oh, why now? Because maybe when you feel like you're having a good hair or makeup day or something, you never see anyone. But when you're in your sweat, you bump into like 1,000 people you know, which I don't know why that is a thing, but that just happens, doesn't it? I don't know why it works like that. But basically people are still thinking that you look good, even in those settings where you think that you don't. I'm also getting that some of you just genuinely don't realise how beautiful you are. I'm getting that One Direction song right now, you don't know you're beautiful. But yeah, there's like a humility to you. Some of you might have been actually quite self-critical in the past, or maybe you struggled with confidence or like dysmorphia, you just didn't see yourselves clearly. So people look at you and they kind of assume you must know how stunning you are, and then they interact with you and they realise you're actually really grounded and really sweet. And I think that kind of surprises people because they might expect someone who looks like you to be more like standoffish or guarded, but you're not. And yeah, you probably do have boundaries because you kind of have to have boundaries, but there's still something very open and warm about you. I also feel like you guys have maybe been on like a bit of a confidence journey. You know, maybe in the past you like made yourself smaller, or you felt more insecure, or you tried to hide certain parts of yourself. I'm literally picturing being in a girl's bathroom on a night out and someone coming up to you and trying to remind you of your worth, like saying you are literally the most beautiful person here, like you need to stop hiding. And it might have genuinely surprised you because you didn't see yourself that way. I don't know why I'm getting that example. It could be like you were reapplying your lipstick in the girl's bathroom or something and you were like looking at your face and trying to point out your flaws. and another girl puts you in your place, like, you are literally a goddess, like, you're literally stunning. I'm getting something like that. Somebody wanting you to, like, own your power. But now, I don't know, it feels like you're becoming more comfortable in yourself, more sort of at home in your own energy, and I think people can feel that. And that actually makes people stare at you even more, because now it's not just beauty, it's also like you're radiating this energy of self-love as well. There's also something about your energy being very pure, very kind, and very loving. Like, you are this baddie, but with a good heart. Yeah, there's a softness to you that makes people feel safe, but also very drawn to you and addicted to you at the same time. And yeah, sometimes, you know, that softness might make people underestimate you or assume things about you or even try to take advantage. But I feel like as you guys get older, you're better at like protecting your softness and your purity. So overall, Power 1 people don't just stare at you because of how you look, although yes, you are very, very beautiful, but they also stare because of how you feel to be around. There's something about you that is just genuinely nice to be around. And I think it makes people want to look at you, be near you, and understand you even more. So that was your energy check, and with that, let's move on to your tarot. We'll look at the rest of these oracle cards and your tarot cards. Okay, so starting over here from the Modern Witch Spiritual deck, we have Profound. From the Wild Whiskers Oracle, we have got Modest Mouse, Contentment, Stealth, Humbleness, Tiny Keeper of Inner Strength, help me to unlock my hidden potential. From the Shine Your Light Oracle, we have got Release Self-Doubt, Let Go of Fear. And from the Green Witch Oracle, we have number 12, Affection, Sorrel. And from the, I was going to say Compassionate Cat Tarot again, Considerate Cat Tarot, please get it right, Nosy Witch. We have got the Two of Swords in reverse, clarified by the Nine of Cups. We have got the King of Pentacles, clarified by Strength. And we have got the Ten of Swords, clarified by the Eight of Pentacles reversed. Interesting. Very interesting. So with the Profound card specifically, I'm getting it's like people stare at you because there's more to you than what meets the eye. Like, yes, you're beautiful, yes, you're easy on the eye, but underneath that, there's this really, really deep, compassionate and affectionate energy, and it kind of circles back to what we were saying in your energy check about you being kind of this muse or like this piece of art. But it's not just that people are looking at something pretty, right? It's that something about you actually moves them in some way. And I know that sounds really dramatic. I'm not saying like every time you step outside, people are being brought to tears by your very presence, because realistically, yeah, a lot of people are probably just staring at you because they think you're cute or beautiful or handsome. Like, it's not that deep, right? Like, which you are. But I do think some of you guys would be surprised at how the little ways you show up in the world feel more meaningful to people than you realize. And I think it says something about how rare your kind of energy is. Because I'm getting it can genuinely feel like a pleasant surprise for people when they encounter you, and it might sort of move them in small ways that you don't even think about. And I'm getting that this could come through in really simple acts of kindness, like you smiling at someone as you pass them on the street, or you letting someone go in front of you at the supermarket because they're in a rush, or you stopping on the street to save a bumblebee so it doesn't get stepped on, or you playing peekaboo with your kid. Just these small everyday moments, you know? So to you, that's just normal, like that's just the way you operate and the energy you show up in. But to other people, it can feel really surprisingly heartwarming, even a bit profound, because maybe they're used to people being kind of like in their own little world, like, or not making eye contact or not going out of their way for others. And I'm not even really judging people for that, because realistically, I think we all get caught up in our own lives at times. But there's something about you where it's like you haven't forgotten who you are. You haven't forgotten how to approach the world with care and with empathy and with warmth. It's like you are actually willing to be a villager to your village, metaphorically speaking, and people can really feel that. There's also something about you having this really easy affection about you. Like, it's very natural for people to just fall for you or want to be your friend or want to be around you. And it's not even that you have to be like overly affectionate in a physical sense, although some of you could be, you know, huggers, you could give really good hugs, but it's more the way you talk to people. Like, you really give people the time of day. You treat people like they matter no matter who they are. So it's like you could be in a shop and, you know, the cashier compliments your bag and you're like, oh my God, I got it from here, let me show you. And suddenly you're showing them a screenshot on your phone like you've known them your whole life, like they're your best friend or something. And people around you are staring like, wait, do they know each other? Or is Pal 1 just like that with everyone? Because there's something about you that makes people feel instantly welcome. Like, you could genuinely make friends anywhere if you wanted to. Now, with that Modest Mouse card, first of all, some of you might just have a really cute, almost angelic look. You could have small and delicate features. Maybe some of you are very petite. Maybe some of you have big doe eyes or like Disney princess eyes. There's just something very adorable about you. Like, people look at you and feel as though they want to give you whatever you want because they can't say no to you. You're so damn cute. Obviously that won't be for everyone, but it is coming through. But more than that, it's that humility aspect again. People stare at you because they're almost in disbelief at how humble you are, especially if you guys have ever had a tendency to like downplay yourself or not take up space or make yourself smaller. I'm literally getting that people are staring at you and they're thinking like, if I looked like Pile 1, nobody would be able to humble me, let me tell you. So it's like people expect you to be more showy or more aware of how like attractive and talented you are. And you're just not like that. And I think for some of you, especially if you've struggled with confidence in the past, people are looking at you like, how do you not see it? Like, you could say, oh, I'm not good at this. And someone is staring at you like, are you joking? You're amazing. Or you're looking in the mirror and you're like, oh, I don't feel like I look good in this outfit. And your friend is just looking at you like, you are literally the most gorgeous person on the earth. What are you talking about? So there is this energy of people recognizing your potential and your beauty and your value, sometimes even more than you do. With that release self-doubt card, I do feel like for some of you, there has maybe been anxiety or self-doubt at some point in the past. And you guys might have little ways of grounding yourself when you have to do something that takes courage. And I'm getting, because of her expression on the card, I'm seeing somebody closing their eyes and taking a breath before speaking, or like some kind of grounding exercise just before a big presentation, or maybe you guys fidget with something. You could have a fidget toy, or you could like just take a few seconds to center yourself. And I think people notice these little exercises that you do. But what's funny is it actually surprises them, because when you actually step into whatever it is you're doing, you do it so well. Like, you can hold the room, you can capture people's attention, you come across really confident. So it's like people are maybe confused that you even get nervous, because from the outside, you seem very secure in yourself most of the time. People stare at you because they're like, I wouldn't have even thought that Pile 1 had to do these grounding exercises, because they just seem naturally confident. Like, I wouldn't have thought they kind of have to prepare themselves like that. Also, this is very random, but if you wear makeup, especially eyeshadow, people could literally stare at you when your eyes are closed like this, because they're admiring your makeup or your eyeshadow, your eyeliner. I'm also getting people look at your lips, like your lip gloss, or they think your blush is cute or something like that. I'm also getting something about like face framing pieces. People just think you look really pretty when you add those little details. Some of you could also wear buns like this some of the time, or you look good in pastel colours. That doesn't have to apply to everyone. But yeah, going back to that kind of like more than meets the eye energy, people could also stare at you because you often look like you're in your own little world, like you're deep in thought, a little bit dreamy. Pisces energy or Neptune energy could be relevant for you guys too. There's something where people look at you and they wonder what you're thinking about. For some of you, there's actually a slightly scattered or distractible energy as well. Like, some of you guys might get caught up in things around you, or you're like, oh, what's that? And your friend has to pull you back because you nearly walked into something. Not in a dramatic way, but there's kind of like this childlike curiosity of you getting distracted. You have like childlike wonder about you, and that can make people feel a bit protective over you. And it's not because you need protecting, but I feel like because you approach the world so openly and lovingly, and you're like so friendly to everyone, so easy to connect with, people are like, okay, let me just keep an eye on Pile 1 to make sure they're okay. And I absolutely hate this phrase, but like if you go out with your friends or something like that, I'm actually hearing the phrase like the fridge protecting the snacks. So I think that phrase is bullshit, like, because obviously if our friends are watching out for us on a night out, it's because we want them to do that. Like, I hate that misogynistic phrase, but I'm getting that people could think like you're the snack and they're trying to approach you, and you kind of have friends that keep an eye out for you to make sure like nobody is trying to just be weird with you, or, you know, like, I don't want to mention this, it's a bit dark, but we know these kinds of things happen. So your friends could kind of like make sure that nobody is doing anything dodgy with your drink. Like, if someone offers to buy you a drink, you kind of have friends who like look out for you. I'm not saying you need them to, but sometimes if you're in your own little world, they might just step up and do that to make sure that you can relax a bit, just in case anybody tries to be weird. But yeah, with the Two of Swords reversed and the Nine of Cups, I'm getting these moments where you might seem a bit indecisive, or like you're being pulled in different directions. People could even stare at you while you're deciding something. And I'm getting an image of somebody like looking at a menu and just being stared at. I don't know why that's going through. That could have happened to you recently. You get to the front and you still don't know what you want, and you're like, and somebody's just waiting for you. I don't know. But also, people stare at you because you look like you're genuinely enjoying yourself. Like, when you're having fun, you are fully in it. You're fully present in the moment, fully enjoying it. And it's actually really nice to watch. There's a kind of contentment about you, or like Some of you get really happy when it comes to the simple things, like somebody buying you a little trinket that wouldn't be a big deal to anyone else. It's like your face lights up and people love to watch your face because you're like, oh my god, you got me this little trinket, and I don't know, it's just really nice to watch. Yeah, and things seem to flow to you as well in a really natural and almost serendipitous way. I'm getting it could seem like there are always people trying to talk to you or kind of pull you in different directions, but you're just always like enjoying yourself in the middle of it all. With the Ten of Swords and the Eight of Pentacles reversed, this is where I feel like there's something that people don't fully see about you, because some of you have been through things. Well, a lot of you have been through things, like, haven't we all? But you don't look like what you've been through, is what I'm getting. Like, if you've been through endings or burnout or difficult periods, times where you were really pushed to your limits, you don't look like what you've been through. And from the outside, it can actually look like everything comes quite naturally to you. Like, you don't even have to try hard to be beautiful or kind or put together or likable, charming. And that can make people stare at you a bit like, how does that work? Like, how do they have everything? Because in their mind, they might feel like they are trying really hard to achieve certain things, and then they look at you and it just seems effortless. Even in really small ways, like somebody could stare at you literally as you tie your hair up in a messy bun, and you do it in 2 seconds, and it looks perfect. And someone is watching you low-key like a bit annoyed because they're like, I've practiced a messy bun so many times and it never looks like that. And for you, it seems like something you did just without thinking. And obviously, you know, nobody knows what goes on behind the scenes. They don't know if you've like practiced things or worked on yourself or grown through things. They're just seeing the end result. So sometimes people end up assuming that you've like had it easy, or that things just come to you, or maybe that you have like pretty privilege, when actually, I mean, I do think pretty privilege is a thing, but it can also be like a double-edged sword, because it can also come with a lot of hostility and jealousy and people isolating you when you are attractive. You know, both things can be true, and sometimes you actually have to work harder to prove that you are also like kind and intelligent and competent. But yeah, like, you might have worked really hard for some of these things, but it comes across as effortless. You might carry things very well, you might handle things in a way where it just doesn't show on the outside, and because of that, maybe people project onto you at times. Like, you could have people saying things to you like, oh, you wouldn't understand, or people maybe assuming you're younger than what you are, or assuming you don't have certain responsibilities, and then it's like they find out something about you and it kind of throws them because maybe it doesn't match what they expected, and then that envy comes through. And I'm not gonna lie, like, this isn't from everyone, but for some people, there's this feeling of like, I would give anything to have what Power 1 has, whether it's your appearance or your energy or the way you carry yourself. And again, that doesn't mean it's been totally effortless for you. It just means like you make it look that way to people. Yeah, going back to that thing about people assuming things about you. I'm getting like a random example, like you show up to work every day and people think you look really well rested and glowing. And from that, people assume that you don't have like kids or something when actually you do. So somebody says something to you like, oh, well, you know, you won't look that way when you have kids. And you're like, well, I do have kids and I do look that way. So it's something like that where it kind of throws them off guard a bit. And they're like, how? Because it doesn't come easily to them or something like that. And they're assuming it's come easily to you. And for some of you, I am getting there could even be a specific person who cannot stop staring at you. And I'm getting this energy of like the one that got away. I'm hearing that. And I'm getting it could be somebody who, like, with that Eight of Pentacles reversed, they maybe didn't put effort in when they had the chance, or like they didn't fully appreciate you. And now every time they see you, you are looking good, you're doing well, you're glowing. And it kind of gets to them a bit. They're like, oh, I should have tried harder. But now they're just sort of watching you from a distance maybe. But yeah, also with the King of Pentacles and Strength, I feel like this is where your presence really comes through, because you guys have this very calm, grounded confidence about you now, and it's not super loud or in your face. It's also not like forced. It doesn't seem like you're trying to prove a point, but it's just there in the way you carry yourself. It seems like you're moving into this energy where you have a real sense of stability, like you know who you are and you know what you stand for, and you're no longer easily shaken if you ever were. And what's interesting as well is that this sits alongside that softness we've been talking about throughout this reading. And I'm looking at like this cat and a lion on the Strength card. It's like there's a lion inside you. Even though you come across as very gentle and very easy to be around, it's like if someone pushes you or crosses a line, you can absolutely stand your ground now. And I think that sometimes surprises people. Like, they look at you and they expect you to be like sweet and accommodating all the time. And then if they ever see you assert yourself or put someone in their place, it's like, oh, okay, Power 1. Like, there's a bit of a hidden fire in you that people don't always clock straight away. I also think this could tie back to people, you know, not really understanding why you'd be insecure, because you could say something like, oh, I used to be super insecure about this, or, oh yeah, I struggle with this sometimes, like I struggle with body image days, or this or that, whatever it is, and people are looking at you like, I don't get it, like I don't see what you're seeing, because from their perspective, you just look really put together and confident and secure in yourself. So yeah, overall, there's this really interesting mix with you where you're soft, but you're strong, you're humble, but you're powerful at the same time, and you're beautiful, but you're also very like grounded and real. And I feel like people just can't quite put their finger on it, but they can feel this energy from you, pal one. And that's why they stare at you, because there's something that feels very effortless, but you earned this, but it's gorgeous, it's loving, and people really try to understand it. Alright, pal one, that's what I'm getting for your reading today, and that's where I'm going to leave you today, my loves. If this resonated with you or you enjoyed the reading, please do me a massive favour and like, comment, hype, share or subscribe. Honestly, any one of those things helps a small channel like mine more than you could ever know, and I really do appreciate it. I love hearing from you guys, so feel free to let me know what resonated, what didn't, or just which pal you picked, which crystal you picked, or even just an emoji. Whatever you want, you can never overshare too much with me. But yeah, thank you so much for being here. I hope you enjoyed this one. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one, pal one. Hi, Pal 2 Collective. If you chose the Barite Crystal and the Modern Witch Tarot, you are in the correct place. Well, welcome to your reading, friends. This reading is titled, Notice People Staring at You. Here's what they're thinking. If you would like a full breakdown of everything this reading will entail, feel free to check out my introduction. I do go through absolutely everything there. I will also leave some details in the pinned comment below for your reference. I would recommend checking at least one of those out so you know what to expect from this reading today. With that said, if you were drawn to this Barite crystal, let's start there. We're going to begin with a little energy check and explore what this might mean in terms of your aura and why people can't seem to stop staring at you right now. So let's have a look at your card, pal 2. Okay, Barite. What it is, Barite is a widely occurring brittle surface mineral. It's often transparent or creamy white. Sometimes it's icy blue. Beautiful and frosty, Desert Rose is a calming variety of Barite. Who needs it? Anyone who leaves for work each morning with the sinking suspicion that their true destiny is anything but this. Where to put it? Tape to your forehead during meditation. When to use it? When it's way past time to stop saying yes to things that you hate. Ask Barite what your true calling is. Then go live it. It will be terrifying. But what's the alternative? Get answers to your biggest questions. Okay, interesting. Okay, pal 2. Straight away, the reason people stare at you is because you look like you don't belong here. And I mean that in the best way possible. I don't mean it in a weird reform, ice-esque, go back to where you came from type of way. I mean it like, wherever you are, there's something about you that stands out from your environment. Like, people look at you and they think, what is someone like that doing here? It's almost like your presence is a bit of a shock to the system. You don't blend in, you don't really like fade into the background, you don't just feel like part of the furniture, you know what I mean? Like, if you walked into a random bar somewhere, it's as though people would clock immediately that you're not from there. Not necessarily because of anything obvious that you're doing, but just because like your whole energy is memorable and it's obvious, like you have an obvious presence about you, and they would know if they'd seen you before, like they would remember you. For some of you guys, this could show up in your appearance, especially if like you have a mixed heritage or culture, or if you are somehow like racially ambiguous, or you just have features that people don't tend to see every day. This could be part of why people stare. You might actually get those annoying questions a lot, like, oh, where are you from? No, but where are you really from? And yeah, for some of you, that might have crossed into people being a bit weird or like fetishizing. Sorry, I can't pronounce that. Fetishizing. I don't know why I'm having trouble with this word today. I don't know. You know what I mean. Fetishizing you at times. And that's not okay. But a lot of the time, it feels more like people are just trying to figure you out. They're trying to place you and they can't quite do it. I'm getting nudges, little confirmations about Middle Eastern, Indian, Asian, Chinese heritage. I'm also getting something about Morocco specifically, but obviously that won't apply to everyone. It's more this feeling of your beauty being quite striking or a bit unfamiliar, like not what people are used to. And I keep wanting to talk about this desert rose energy because there's something about you that feels like a contrast. Like on the one hand, there is an element of like softness and elegance, but then there's also heat and intensity, like something a little bit raw and primal underneath. You guys might come across as very sort of put together, very composed, maybe even a bit delicate or pretty, but it's like there's this fire underneath that people can feel. It's this softness and sweetness, but also some sort of intensity or a little bit of danger, like a raw sensuality here. It just kind of radiates off you, and that's what makes people stare because it's a bit jarring. It's like their brain is trying to process these two things at once. The duality, as I like to talk about in these readings all the time, that's a big theme that comes up. I'm also getting this image of like a mirage in the desert. It's something where somebody looks at you and they almost do a double take. They're like, wait, did I actually just see that, or did I just hallucinate that? Almost like you look a bit too good to be true. So people look again just to check they're not imagining it. And I'm also getting that people are kind of thirsty for you, pal, too. I'm thinking of being desperate for water in the desert. You tend to spark something in people. There's a pull towards you, curiosity and attraction. There could also be something really striking about your eyes in particular. I'm thinking of the phrase icy blue on the card, but your eyes don't have to be icy blue. Of course, if they are, that's an extra confirmation, but there could be something about your eyes that reads as intense, or like people just get locked on your eyes, or you guys could suit cooler tones like icy blue really well. Yeah, there's something about your gaze that feels quite intense. At the same time, though, you might initially come across as a bit frosty or a bit closed off. Maybe some of you have a bit of a resting witch face. Some of you guys look like, you know, don't talk to me, don't approach me. You look quite composed, quite controlled. But again, like people can sense that there's more going on underneath that. This is a very random confirmation, but for just a couple of you, there's something about your skin tone changing quite a lot between seasons, which is normal, like to an extent, but some of you guys could be very, very pale in winter and very golden in summer. And that could apply especially if you are of like mixed heritage, or you have like an olive skin tone or something. People might even try to stare at you to figure out whether your tan is like natural or not, because it looks so different between seasons. That's just an extra confirmation for somebody. But yeah, going back to this like you don't belong here energy, it's coming across as you actually feeling a little bit otherworldly. Like you don't quite fit into boxes, you don't fit into labels, you don't feel fully like of this place. Some of you might have actually felt like that strongly growing up, like you were aware of this, or you could have felt like you don't belong anywhere in any particular place. There's strong Aquarius energy here, definitely Sagittarius as well, maybe a little bit of Pisces. There's just something about you that feels a bit just not of this world. That's what I keep getting. And there's this feeling of you guys being a bit elsewhere, as in like in your own head. Like people stare at you because you often look like you're a million miles away. Very deep in thought, very in your own head, in your own little world, especially if you guys are in a situation right now that doesn't fully align with what you actually want to be doing. For example, if you're in a job or environment that just doesn't light you up, it's almost like part of you is already gone at any given time. Or like when you're doing something, you're elsewhere, you're thinking about something else, you're conjuring up new ideas, you're dreaming about another life, imagining something else very vividly. So some of you guys could have a very vivid creative imagination, a very active mind. You guys could have a lot of vivid dreams, and people notice that when they stare at you, they're like, where did pal 2 just go? Like, where did they drift off to? What are they thinking about? There's also something about people sensing that you are meant for more. Like, even if you're in a very normal, mundane situation, people can often tell that your potential isn't being fully utilized. So you could be working somewhere, as just one example, and let's say this job is not your passion, it's just something you do to get by for now. And people are looking at you and thinking like, this person shouldn't be doing this, they should be doing something else. Whether that's based on your looks or your presence or your talent, it's something that's visible. It's something that people stare at, they can notice about you. It's like people can see that there is more to you, even if you're still kind of figuring out yourself what that actually is. There's also something about your expressions. I'm getting like you guys don't even have to say anything and people can read what you're thinking, or they try to at least. You guys might have a really expressive face or strong body language where your reactions say everything. Like, I'm just getting this example of if you guys were in a work meeting, somebody, if they said something sort of out of pocket, it's like your friend could immediately look at you to see your reaction. And whether it's just like a little eye roll or a smirk or you trying not to laugh, people use your face as a confirmation of what's going on. But at the same time, you can be quite composed when you need to be. Like, you don't always give everything away if you don't want to. So it's like people end up staring at you trying to figure out what you're thinking. Maybe sometimes if you say yes to something, people are thinking like, do they actually want to do that, or are they just saying yes out of obligation? I don't know whether that applies to some of you. It could be to do with that feeling of you seeming like elsewhere some of the time. People could be asking like, are they paying attention? Like, did they actually listen to what I just said? Because maybe you're thinking about something else, so they're staring at you being like, did Pal 2 actually process what I said? Or something like that. That could happen sometimes. But yeah, overall there is like this really calm energy to you. There's kind of a stillness. There's a composure, definitely, like you don't get easily disrupted or thrown off. But yeah, there is this underlying fire, absolutely. So yeah, Pal 2, people stare at you because you're a little bit unconventional. You stand out, you don't fit into these neat categories. Yeah, there's something about you that feels not quite from here, but in a really, really good way. Almost like you're between worlds. Like you're here physically, but part of you is somewhere else. You're already moving towards something bigger, and people can really feel that even though they might not necessarily be able to explain it at all times. With that said, let's move on to your tarot. So we're going to have a look at your oracle cards and these Modern Witch tarot cards. Okay, so from the Modern Witch spiritual deck, we have communication. And from the Wild Whiskers oracle, we have loyal llama, patient stamina, diligence, persistent and peaceful grassland dweller, show me fortitude in troubled times. From the Shine Your Light oracle, we have got practice feng shui, create a sacred space. And from the Green Witch oracle, we have number 39, longevity, chrysanthemum. I have trouble with that word. If you've been on the channel a while, you know this. But there's the card anyway. Okay, from the Modern Witch tarot, we have the Five of Cups. And clarifying the Five of Cups, we have the Knight of Pentacles. We have got the Four of Swords, and clarifying the Four of Swords, we have the High Priestess. Interesting. And we have got the Six of Swords, and clarifying the Six of Swords, we have the Page of Cups. Cool. Very nice. So straight away, Pal 2, with this communication card, this is a big, big reason people stare at you. There's something about the way you communicate that really just lands with people. And it's not necessarily just about what you say, it's also about like how you say it and how you engage with people, like how you look at them, your expressions. It's the whole aura that you give. And this could kind of link to what we were saying in your energy check about your face maybe being expressive. Like you can make eye contact with someone and communicate something deep without even speaking. Like you can literally have a whole conversation with somebody, especially if they're close to you and you kind of have that like telepathic connection. You can have that just through a look, and people really pick up on that you have telepathic connections with people. But also like when you do speak, when you verbally speak, people listen. Even if you guys hate public speaking, I'm thinking of public speaking as just one example, you guys would be amazing at it, I'm sorry to tell you, because there's just something about you that captivates attention, and people cannot take their eyes off you when you're talking. So you guys could be a really engaging storyteller, or just someone who explains things in a way that makes people feel seen and very understood. And honestly, if you guys have, or you did have in the future, a platform like on social media or something, you guys would do really, really well. You would attract a lot of attention naturally. I'm not saying that's something you have to do. Maybe you guys don't want that. But people could literally sit there and listen to you all day. They could listen and stare at you all day because there's something about your delivery that people just can't look away from. And I'm also getting a very specific example of sometimes people eavesdropping on your conversations. Like, you could just be talking to your friend, minding your business, and it feels like people nearby are trying to listen in because whatever you're saying just sounds interesting. Or, you know, even from a distance, they might not even hear what you're saying, but they can see how animated your face is or how engaged you are, how expressive you are when you're talking. And it kind of draws them in. They're thinking like, oh, what is that person talking about? That sounds interesting. Like they seem to be really into that conversation. And even with like the imagery of the sun rising on this card, there's something about you genuinely lighting up when you're talking. Like when you're just laughing and you're chatting and you're just being yourself, your energy becomes really magnetic. And I don't want to make this sound like like a true crime documentary. You know, people always describe the deceased as like, oh, they lit up the room, but you really do light up the room. Like, it's that kind of presence, especially, you know, in those natural everyday moments. And at the same time, you guys, it feels like you're also good listeners. Like, you make people feel seen and understood and comfortable. With that Feng Shui card, especially, it's like you create a safe space for people very quickly. So people might stare at you when you're talking to someone because they can see how engaged you are and how attentive you are and how much you're really like there, present with that person. Which I know kind of sounds contradictory to what we were saying earlier about you sometimes being like a million miles away. But I feel like when you are passionate about a conversation and when you really care about somebody, you can really be there, like in the moment. And it's almost as though people come away from conversations with you feeling like, wow, that was actually really nice. Like, something clicked, they felt understood. And then afterwards, it's like they're kind of looking out for you again. Like, oh, who was that? Like, I need to speak to them again. And I'm getting this random example of, let's say you work in healthcare or, you know, just any job where you deal with the public. You guys will be the person that people remember. Like, they'd want to book with you again. They'd be looking out for your name because you made them feel so comfortable in a way they're not used to. Or even at a social event. And if you guys have ever like been socially anxious, you'll hopefully know what I mean here. Like, if you struggle in group settings or meeting new people you don't know very well, I hope you know what I'm on about, especially if you're neurodivergent or anything like that. You don't have to be, but I'm neurodivergent myself, so I'm just using this as an example. And I find that I'm quite good in one-on-one social settings, but in group settings, I sometimes find it hard to like maintain eye contact with different people without getting distracted and losing my train of thought, because it can sometimes be like a bit overstimulating. So I'm thinking of that thing where like you are talking to a bunch of new people and maybe you're telling a story, or even something like, it doesn't have to be just a social setting. I'm thinking of like a job interview where, let's say there are 4 people on the panel interviewing you. And even though you're trying to look at everyone and include everyone, there might be that one person you naturally end up looking at more, like your eyes gravitate towards them more because they just maybe make you feel more at ease, or they seem really engaged in what you're saying, or maybe they're giving like little encouraging nods. And I feel like you are that person for other people. People stare at you more when they're communicating because it feels more comfortable to look at you. You feel like a safe place for their eyes to land. It's actually really lovely. And then with the loyal llama energy, I'm getting that a lot of you probably have quite a small circle, or maybe you've had the same loyal group of friends for years and years and years. It might be quite hard to penetrate your inner circle, pal, too, if that makes sense. You might keep to yourself a little bit, or you might be a little bit more detached with people who aren't like already part of your world and your circle. So people could stare at you because they're trying to figure out how to get in. Like, how do I get closer to pal 2? How do I get promoted to inner circle status? Because once you love someone, I feel like you really, really love them. Like, when you're loyal, you are loyal, but it takes a lot of time for someone to get to that level with you. You can maybe be a bit frosty at first. And I'm also getting this in a romantic sense, where people might stare at you and they think that you're the type of person they would take home to meet their parents. Like, especially with that longevity card, there's something about you where people stare at you and they're like, that's a wifey material, or that's hubby material. There's something about you where people might be very attracted to you and they want to approach you, but they don't always do it because they can sense that like their usual lines aren't necessarily gonna work. They're like, this person isn't just here for like a fleeting conversation. That bores them. People can notice that you get very bored by small talk maybe, and they're like, this person's the real deal. So they just stare because they're recognizing that you're like the whole package, but they might not know how to actually come towards you, especially if it's someone who's like used to more superficial connections. You might kind of zone out a bit when it comes to just like superficial, oh yeah, the weather, blah blah blah. That doesn't really appeal to you. So it might be people staring at you wondering like what they could talk about to get you interested. Because when you are interested, you're really engaged. This is really, really random and it might only be for just like 1 or 2 people, but there's something here about endurance. So if you guys, I don't know, as one example, go to the gym, maybe you can stay on one machine for ages, like you really work hard, and people stare because they're like, you know, when I came into this gym, pal 2 was on the bike, and they're still on the bike 40 minutes later. Like, damn, they've got strong legs. Like, they are working really hard. They're in it for the long haul. Obviously, it doesn't have to be literally that example, but it's something about you being able to like push through and stick with something. And if it's not physical, because it doesn't have to be, it could just be that once you get like stuck into a project, you tend to hyper focus on it, and it's like really hard to distract you from your groove. It's hard to break you out of it. So people could notice that when you're focused, you're really like tapped in and diligent and determined. But when something like bores you, you can be the complete opposite. Also, this is a very, very random message, but with the llama card, it made me think of something from my own life recently. So I often go on walks with my dad near my parents' house, and there's this small farm not too far from where they live. And on one of the trails, there's a field with a few alpacas in it. And I know alpacas are not the same as llamas, but they're similar, right? Like similar family. And me and my dad always stop next to this field to say hello to the alpacas. Anyway, my dad was telling me that he bumped into one of the girls who works on the farm when he was walking on his own one day, and she was telling him about the alpacas and their personalities. And apparently the one that seems like the most sort of cute and like it would be the most friendly is actually like, she didn't word it like this, but is actually a bit of an asshole. And the one that looks like a bit more distant is apparently actually the friendliest, like cuddliest one. And I don't know why, but I feel like I want to say that. Like that could be relevant for some of you guys. And I think it could go either way. So maybe you guys look super cute and sweet, but actually you have a bit of a bite to you. Or, you know, maybe you come across as more distant or hard to read on the surface, but once people get to know you, you are like really warm and friendly and bubbly. Either way, people stare because they're trying to work you out. Like they don't quite know how to take you. And another completely random confirmation, but with the llama card mentioning like grazing on grass. I think it does anyway. I didn't just make that up, did I? No, it does say grassland dweller. Some of you could be vegetarian or vegan or plant-based, or maybe you order interesting food. And I'm saying this because this is something I find happens to me a lot because I eat mostly plant-based. So often I order the vegan option when I'm eating out, and often I find people are initially like, ew, I don't want that. Like, oh no, I'm not going to order the vegan option. And then when it actually arrives, suddenly everyone is interested. They're like, oh, what have you ordered? Oh, that actually looks good. Oh, can I try a bit? So that could be a random thing for some of you. It's like people stare at your food choices or what you've ordered because it looks interesting or just unexpectedly good. With the Feng Shui card, there's definitely something here about you being at peace in your own energy. Like you have created your own little world, your own sanctuary, and I feel like you guys carry that with you. There's something very calm and self-contained about you guys. Like you don't need to constantly perform or seek attention. And looking at the imagery on the card, especially the woman's beautiful hair, if any of you guys have curly hair, coily hair, wavy hair, big hair, if you have a fro or you wear your hair in interesting styles, people could stare at that. Some of you may have even had people do that annoying thing of being like, oh, can I touch your hair? Which obviously won't apply to everyone, but I wanted to mention it because it could be a part of why certain people stare, because something looks kind of like exotic to them, whether it's like unwanted attention or not. And I did say that I would mention if there was like a specific person coming through who is staring at you guys, pal, too. And with the Five of Cups, I do feel like there is someone looking in on you who feels like they've lost you or fumbled you in some way. And for some of you, it could be romantic, but it doesn't have to be. It could be an old friend you lost touch with, or someone you had a relationship or situationship with, someone who didn't make a move when they should have done, or someone who didn't put the effort in when they had the chance. But for whatever reason, maybe they've bumped into you recently, or they've seen you pop up on social media, or something has just reminded them of you, and now you're on their mind quite a lot, and they're wanting to look at you. And what's interesting with the Five of Cups is that sometimes it can talk about someone having other options, but they're not focused on those options. They're focused on what they feel like they've lost. So this person, it might look like they've moved on. They might have other friends or other romantic interests. They might even be in a relationship, whatever it is, but they are still like staring in your direction, thinking, I missed out there, or I wish I still had what me and Pal 2 had. And for some of you, this might really surprise you because you might think that this person doesn't think about you anymore, or at least not this deeply. But with the Knight of Pentacles, it does feel like for a lot of you some time has passed, because I'm getting this sense of you like having worked on yourself, you've bettered yourself, maybe you've had a bit of a glow up, or it's like the effort you've been putting into something has started to pay off. And now this person is noticing and they're looking at you like, they're really doing well, they're doing well. They might be trying to look into what you're doing or checking on your page, or, you know, seeing if they can find out a little bit more, but I feel like a lot of you are quite private, you know, like maybe you don't post that often, or your profile is private, or, you know, even if they do follow you, you don't give too much away. Like, you're just not desperate for attention, you're kind of just chill, and that makes them even more curious. With the Six of Swords, there is definitely something about distance being created here. People could be staring at you because it's clear that you've moved away from something toxic or stressful, or just not aligned with you anymore. And maybe you look better for it, like you seem better for it. People are noticing that there's been a change. And with the Page of Cups, I feel like you guys are starting to come out of your shell again. Maybe you did have a period recently where you needed to like retreat, go hermit mode, take some space, and now it's like you're just starting to become more social again. So some of you could be like booking more activities or accepting invitations, showing up to things again, and people are noticing you because your energy feels just more open and more inspired and more fun-loving. It could be that you guys have done some healing and now you're just showing up in a more self-loving energy. Maybe some of you guys have recently changed your style, you've cut or dyed your hair or switched up your image, or done something creative with how you present yourself. Or maybe it's more like internal than external even. Maybe you've, you know, gone away and had space, you've done some work on yourself, and then you show up to an event in this completely different energy. So if you do have an event coming up, I won't be surprised if people are staring at you a lot because it's like they're seeing you in a new light. It could also be that you're coming out of a period of stress. Like if work, for instance, has been stressful for the past few months, and before, maybe if you went to an event, it's like you were kind of half in and half out. Like maybe you couldn't fully relax because it always felt like you had too much to do. Like you go to a social function and you'd have to bring your work laptop. Or you were like, no, I can't stay, I can't have another drink, I can't go up and dance because I have work tomorrow, like I've got to go soon. But now it feels like you're moving into this energy where people invite you places, and not only do you say yes, it's like you actually want to be there and you're fully in the moment. So you're loosening up and you're having fun. Maybe you're like, okay, go on then, one more drink, fill up my cup, let's enjoy ourselves, let's go out and dance. And people are noticing that you seem more at ease. Some of you have maybe recently had like a break from work or some time to relax, and maybe you've been on holiday or you have one coming up, and it feels like it's done wonders for you. Like you might come back with a very fresh perspective and people are staring like, where did you get that tan? Like you're carrying this really relaxed energy and you look so good for it. And this is very random, but I'm getting, especially with that Four of Swords, if you guys have been on holiday recently to somewhere sunny and you've been like sunbathing, like laid down on a sunbed with your eyes closed, I'm getting something about people staring at you on holiday. It goes back to that message from the energy check about people thinking you look kind of exotic or not from around here. Like maybe you go to a different country and people stare at you because your beauty is very unique in that setting. Or maybe you just look really good in your bikini or swimming costume or whatever it is you wear, and people are like staring at your body as you relax. And that can be flattering, but I also want to acknowledge that it can be unwanted too. Like if you've ever gone to certain places and had like creepy men or just creepy people stare at you, that could be part of it as well. This reminds me of a friend I used to go on holiday with quite frequently. People would always approach her in other countries and actually ask to take pictures with her. She was beautiful, she had like long blonde hair and these bright blue eyes, and when we'd get ready to go out, she was always like very glamorous. And people in different countries especially seemed completely mesmerized by that. So I guess like in countries maybe, for her at least, where like blonde hair and blue eyes isn't the norm, like that is really captivating to people. So I'm not saying you have to have like the same look as that, but there's something like a bit different or exotic about you to certain people. So yeah, something like that could happen to you where people are fascinated by your look or your features, or it could just be people staring a bit longer than they should be, like when you're sunbathing or relaxing in your swimwear by the pool. You could have noticed that if you've been away recently, pal too, or that tends to happen to you whenever you go away. And yeah, with the Four of Swords and with the High Priestess, I really feel like this brings us back to that private, intuitive, hard to read kind of energy, like a little bit frosty. People could make eye contact with you and they immediately feel like you know more than you're saying, is what I want to say. There's something about you that feels very observant, like you're taking in the whole room, you're absorbing the energy around you, you are noticing everything that's going on without needing to announce it. Some of you guys could be very psychic or intuitive, and people kind of sense that about you, that you're taking things in. People pick up on it even if they don't know how to explain it. There's like, oh, I just feel like this person clocks everything. So they're like staring at you to see if you're clocking it, and you're always clocking it. There's also something a little bit like cheeky or mischievous about some of you. Like maybe you have a certain smile or expression that makes people feel like you're kind of holding things back, like you know something that they don't, like you're keeping a secret. But at the same time, with that Four of Swords, you're not necessarily trying to be in everyone's energy all the time. Like you guys, you know how to distance yourself. You have your own sacred sanctuary, your own inner world, your own private space that not everyone gets access to. And that's for a reason. Like you're quite deliberate with that. So overall, pile 2 people stare at you because you have this really interesting mix going on. Like you communicate in a way that pulls people in. You make them feel seen. You have this loyal, in it for the long haul energy, but you are also very private and not immediately easy to access. You can be warm, but it's not like in a wide open way. There's a frostiness to it. There's an edge. And you can be engaging with people, like you can talk to them and make them feel seen, but meanwhile they kind of know nothing about you. Like you remain mysterious. You're very physically present in your conversations, but if you're not engaged with the conversation, sometimes it feels like part of you is elsewhere entirely, and that makes people just want to figure you out all the more, and they keep looking because there's always more to work out beneath the surface. But yeah, pile 2, that's what I'm getting for your reading today, and that's where I'm going to leave you today, my loves. If this reading resonated for you, if you enjoyed it, please do me a massive favour and like, comment, hype, share or sub if you are able to. Honestly, any one of those things helps a small channel like mine more than you could ever know, and I really, really do appreciate it. I love hearing from you guys as well, so feel free to let me know what resonated, or, you know, just leave me an emoji or tell me which crystal you picked. I promise you can never overshare too much with me as long as it's done so with kindness. But yeah, thank you so much for being here. I hope you enjoyed this one. Take care, and I will see you in the next one, pile 2. Hi Pal 3 Collective, if you chose the Malachite crystal and you chose the Lightseer's Tarot, you are in the correct place. Welcome to your reading, friends. This reading is titled, Notice People Staring at You? Here's what they're thinking. If you would like a full breakdown of everything this reading will entail, please check out my introduction. I do go through absolutely everything there. I will also leave some details in the pinned comment below for your reference. I would recommend checking at least one of those out so you know what to expect from this reading today. But you were clearly drawn to this beautiful Malachite crystal card, so let's start there. We're going to begin with a little bit of an energy check. We're going to explore what you being drawn to this crystal might mean in terms of your aura and in terms of why people can't seem to stop staring at you right now. Okay, so let's have a look. Malachite, what it is. With its trademark acid trip swirls, money green malachite is an electrifying mesmerizer with a high copper content, always good for moving energy and making things happen. Who needs it? The overflowing in creativity but lacking in follow-through. The all business all the time set. Where to put it? If you're trading cryptocurrency, writing television pilots, or starting up the next tech giant, try some malachite in your workspace. When to use it? When the concrete jungle has you disconnected from the earth beneath it. When you've just got to have the money, the power, and all the glory, come at it with a heart-forward, sustainable energy courtesy of malachite. Claim your success. Okay. Some big energy here, pal 3. So starting off with this malachite energy, the very first thing I'm getting is this really super strong sense of potential. Like people will look at you and they can just tell that you are on the verge of something, or that you're like always growing, you're always evolving, you're always moving in some forward direction. There is nothing stagnant about your energy, pal 3. Like even if you don't feel as though you've fully arrived at a particular destination, if you're not quite where you want to be just yet, people can sense that you are going somewhere, and that alone makes them want to watch you a little bit closer. Interestingly enough, I am actually getting this slightly bittersweet feeling that keeps coming through, and you might have experienced this before, pal 3, and if this is the case, you are absolutely in the right place. But it's almost as though sometimes people stare at you because they realise that their time with you is something precious. Because I think there's this underlying awareness that you are never going to stay in the same place forever. Whether that's, you know, actually like physically or just in terms of who you're becoming metaphorically. So it's almost like people stare at you and it's as though they're committing that version of you in that exact moment. They're committing that version to memory because one day that version of you is going to be something they look back on. And I use the word bittersweet. It's not necessarily like sad. It's more as though they can feel your potential. And it's like they're holding on to the time they have with you now because they know that you're going to like spread your wings and go somewhere bigger, if that makes sense. And the example that's coming into my head right now, it doesn't have to be this exact example for you, but just to explain the energy, it's almost like, let's say there was a young version of you in a small town, like maybe when you were a child or a teenager. And you know, when you just know that someone isn't destined to stay in that small town forever, it could be, for the sake of this example, like let's say you were part of something local, like you love to act, so you were part of this drama group, or you had a hobby and you were around this certain circle of people. It's like there was this quiet understanding that you were always going to outgrow that environment. Like you weren't going to stay there long term. So imagine if we use that acting example, you are this actor or actress. It's like people were already looking at you back then and they were staring at you like, yeah, this person's going to make it big one day. So they're almost like staring at you a little bit harder, fully taking you in, because one day they're going to be like, oh, I knew them way back then. It doesn't have to be acting specifically, but it's that same energy of people recognizing that you're not going to stay where you are and you're going to get big. And I'm also getting this same energy with the people who love you, the people closest to you, like family, friends, people who you grew up with, especially if you don't see those people all the time. Like if you only visit those people occasionally, it's like they look at you for a bit longer than usual because they want to remember you as you are now. So it's like they're taking in the details of your face, your expressions, your presence, because they know that it's not going to be constant. Like time with you feels limited in some way, but it's because you're always sort of like booked and busy, or you're always on the move. This could even apply to romantic relationships. I was thinking, especially if you're in like a long-term relationship, if you and your partner don't get to see each other every single second of the day, it's like they're staring at you because they just want to cherish and capture this moment forever. Like if they don't get unlimited access to you, they want to savor the time that they do have. So they stare at you a little bit longer than usual. There's also something about you being quite hard to pin down in general. It might not always be easy to get like a one-on-one moment with you guys because it seems like you're always doing something. You're always working on the next thing, or you're always headed somewhere, or you're focused on your next move. It always feels like you have places to be or goals to meet or just like something on your mind. And because of that, people could literally be like watching you to figure out when they would get a moment to talk to you. So for example, if you're super busy and focused on something, people might be looking over at you like, okay, are they free yet? Would now be a good time to go over there? I'm thinking of like a workplace scenario, especially if you have a very like sort of busy, on the go, almost boss-like kind of energy. People might be checking in with you throughout the day visually before they approach you. Or it doesn't even have to be in a work setting if you're not like a manager or anything like that where people would need to talk to you. It could be like you're locked in at the gym, let's say, and someone could look at you, they could have a crush on you and they want to talk to you, but you're always like busy, you're always super hyper focused on what you're doing. So they're always staring at you to see like when a good time would be, but you're always like in your own sort of world focused on something. There's also a really strong sense that you just radiate this aura of success, or at the very least potential for success. Even if you guys don't feel fully established yet, people look at you and think that you could be anything you want to be. And I feel like people often end up staring at you in genuine awe of your ideas, because it's like you come out with things that nobody else has thought of before, and it kind of leaves people a little bit stunned. I'm literally seeing people looking at you with their mouth slightly open, like, wait, what? Where did that come from? Because you've just said something that's actually really clever or very creative or just completely unexpected. And the example that's popping into my mind, again, this one doesn't have to apply to you directly, but let's say you've always wanted to write a book, but you've been procrastinating, like maybe you haven't actually published anything yet. So people assume it's just like a vague pie in the sky kind of idea. You're like, oh yeah, I want to write something one day. But then when they actually ask you about it, you suddenly have the whole thing mapped out. Like you've got the plot, you've got the characters, you talk about the symbolism and the deeper meaning behind your work. And you're like explaining all this in so much detail, and they're just sat there like, what the hell? Like, that's actually amazing. Like, I didn't realize you had it all figured out. It's like that jaw drop moment and that kind of energy where, you know, people don't always realize what's going on in your mind until you start speaking, and then they're genuinely impressed that you've got it all figured out. There's also this very, I want to say, electric quality to your energy. Some of you, this could be an extra confirmation, and this has come through in my readings before, but you might give people like static shocks a lot. But I'm getting it as being more of a symbolic thing more than anything. It's like you spark something in people. After being around you or having a conversation with you, people tend to feel energized, or they tend to feel inspired, or just more alive than usual, and they might not even be able to explain it, but they come away thinking like, I don't know what it is about that person, but I feel different after being around them. I feel different after talking to them. It's almost like your energy carries this like creative, kinetic, magnetic charge that spills out into the environment around you. And because of that, there's also this sense that people see you as someone important, or someone who is going to become important. Because when you walk in a room, there's a noticeable shift. People do notice you and they stare at you. Even if you're not trying to be the center of attention, there's something about your presence that naturally draws the eye. You have a very dynamic energy where it feels like you're not just drifting through life, you are actually moving with intention. Even if you guys see yourself as a bit of a daydreamer at times, other people don't necessarily see it that way. They see you as someone who is on a mission, like someone who has places to be, people to see. That can sometimes make people feel a little bit intimidated by you as well. They might stare at you, but then they might talk themselves out of approaching you because they're thinking like, what will pal 3 even want with me? Or like, what do I have to offer them? There's something about the way you carry yourself that suggests like you know your worth and you're not going to settle. And I think sometimes that can trigger a bit of an inferiority complex in certain people who might be envious of that. You could attract a lot of envy, and I'm not going to lie, at certain times it feels like evil eye energy as well with the malachite and the green, all the green that's coming through here. It's making me think of like people are green with envy. But yeah, there is something about your presence being very noticeable, almost like you're always in people's peripheral vision, even if they try not to look at you. And I'm getting the image of being in a room where, you know, everything is quite neutral and beige, and then there's like that one bold, bright colour that your eyes keep getting drawn back to. Because even with this malachite card, this is like the boldest colour crystal card that has come through today. Like that bright green, there's an intensity to it, there's a dramaticness to it. So yeah, it's like you're that bold, bright colour. I'm not saying you have to be wearing bold, bright colours, it's just more your aura. Yeah, it's like people's eyes keep getting drawn back to it, even when they're not looking at it directly. That's the kind of effect you have. People are always aware of you being there, even when you're not trying to stand out. And for some of you, it could be more literal, like maybe wearing more striking colours, or you put together an outfit that is very unique and that stands out in the crowd. You guys could look really good in green. You could look good in jewel tones. I'm getting like emerald green. Some of you could have striking green or hazel eyes. Something about copper, with it mentioning copper, could be relevant here as well. Like some of you could have copper or ginger hair, or you could be a natural redhead. Or some of you could just have like very, is it called like high contrast features that make your appearance stand out? Like even if it's not those exact colours that I'm mentioning, there's something about your features that people notice because of the contrast or the boldness. So I'm thinking of, like, I'm trying to think of celebrities, because I'm thinking of, I guess like Megan Fox, she has really like dark hair, but then like those bright blue eyes, or somebody with like really blonde hair but then very dark brown eyes, or something like that. Something that's like a contrast. I'm also getting there's something a little bit daring or edgy, or I'm getting audacious about you. Like if you want something, you're not afraid to go after it, and it doesn't feel like you're waiting around for permission. So you could be the person who like volunteers to go first, or you take action and you're happy to kind of figure it out as you go. And because of that, it feels like people naturally look to you and they want to follow your lead. There's a very natural leadership quality here. You don't have to force it. It just comes through in the way you move within the world. And what's really interesting here as well is that even with all of that ambition, it doesn't feel cold. It feels like you're still heart-led. Like there's something about your drive that is connected to actually wanting to do something meaningful or make an impact in the world in some way, rather than just like chasing success for the sake of it. And I feel like that's another reason people stare at you, because they can sense that you're not just driven, it's like you're driven with a particular purpose. There's also really strong transformation energy here. Scorpio placements or 8th house placements could be relevant. Some of you might switch up your appearance quite a lot. Some of you could be a Scorpio rising. I'm also getting Pisces rising, Gemini rising maybe, or Gemini placements too. Yeah, whether that's like your hair or your style or your makeup or just more your overall vibe, it's like people could literally do a double take when they see you. They're like, wait, is that pile 3? Because you look different each time. It can almost make people glitch out for a second, especially if it hasn't been that long since they last saw you, but you look completely different somehow. And I have to mention this because it really made me laugh. But that acid trip reference feels relevant here. There's something about people feeling like they're almost tripping when they look at you, either because you change so much, or they're kind of like, am I seeing things? Because there's something genuinely hypnotic about you. Like, people could stare at you for a long time and just find you endlessly interesting is something I'm getting. Almost like they're looking at something that keeps revealing new details the longer they look. I'm thinking of like being on a trip or taking psychedelics when, you know, like lines and patterns morph and they just get more and more interesting. That's how people look at you. Like, they could stare at you forever and not get bored. For some of you, there could even be like a slightly more free-spirited or unconventional kind of vibe. Maybe a little bit of hippie kind of energy, where your style or your presence just feels different, and people are really drawn to that as well. So definitely people stare at you because you seem like someone who is constantly becoming something more. You're not static, you're not predictable, you're not like staying in the same place. There's this mix of movement, but also with creativity and a lot of ambition and a lot of presence. And it just makes people feel like they're witnessing something amazing happen, like something that's going to get big, something that's going to blow up. So whether they realize it or not, part of the reason they stare at you is because they can sense that. Okay, pile 3. So with that said, let's move along to your tarot. We're going to look at the rest of your oracle cards, and we're going to look at your Light Seers cards as well. So starting off over here from the Modern Witch Spiritual deck, we have Determination. From the Wild Whiskers Oracle, we have Happy Hedgehog, Curiosity, Energy, Productivity. Sprightly Critter of the Forest, help me discover new opportunities. From the Shine Your Light Oracle, we have Remove the limiting labels that you're wearing. And from the Green Witch Oracle, we have number 31, Look Lime. From the Light Seers, we have got the Three of Swords reversed, and clarifying that, we have the Magician. We have got the Queen of Wands, and clarifying the Queen of Wands, we have the Star, of course we do. And we have got Death. Yeah, it makes sense, the transformation energy, and clarifying Death, we have the Five of Cups. Okay, interesting. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Okay, so with your tarot, the first thing that's standing out to me here is this determination energy. It's not subtle to me at all. Like, people can literally see the determination all over your face at pile 3. There's something about your aura right now that feels unstoppable. It's very focused, it's very driven. It's like, I'm gonna get what I want no matter what. And it's almost like when you look onto something, your whole energy sharpens in a way. Like, people can feel that intensity dripping off you. It's not passive, it's very intentional. And people stare because they can tell you're not just talking about doing things, you are actually going to go ahead and do them. But at the same time, it's not in this sort of cold and robotic ambition at all costs kind of way. With that Happy Hedgehog energy, there's still this sense of curiosity. There's this liveliness to it. There's this sense of like you trying things out and exploring new opportunities. It feels like you are productive, but you're also playful with it. Like, you are building something, but you're enjoying the process as you go. And that makes your energy feel really engaging. People don't just want to see someone working hard. They want to see someone who is like alive in what they're doing and passionate about it. And you are, and that makes them want to watch you more closely. And then with the Remove the Limiting Labels card, I feel like this really ties into your energy check, because I'm hearing very clearly that people are staring at you because you're different now. Because something has shifted, like something you've been doing, whether it's your healing, your growth, work on your mindset, whatever it is, whether it's physical changes, it's working, it's showing on the outside, and you don't look like the same version of yourself anymore. And people can tell. And it's very much, you know, that Malachite energy of transformation. It's like you've accepted that change is inevitable, and instead of resisting it, you've moved with it and you've evolved with it. And because of that, it's like you're becoming a new version of yourself over and over and over again. Some of you genuinely do look like a different person every time people see you. Like we said, you know, whether that's your energy or your confidence or your style or just your whole vibe. People are like, wait, is that really pile 3? Because you're familiar, but also very, very different at the same time. And this could be especially strong for like people who haven't seen you in a while. Old friends, old family members, people from your hometown. They might encounter you again and they're kind of trying to figure out what's changed, because you're clearly the same person. Like, you haven't been cloned, pile 3. I don't think you have anyway, but you're also not the same person. You're also so different. And there's something about you now, like the way you carry yourself, where you've really tapped into your own personal power. You're a lot more self-aware, and it's like you're actually acknowledging the potential that other people have always seen, but you haven't always seen in yourself. It is that stereotypical energy of like a butterfly coming out of a cocoon. It's like you've had to go through these awkward phases, these heavier phases, like moments where maybe you didn't feel like yourself. You had to go through that to get to where you are now. And it's like you've shed something significant here. You've stepped out of an old version of yourself, and you are just lighter and you're brighter and you're more confident in who you are. And I don't know why I am getting this image. The image that's coming into my head right now is so random, but I'm seeing someone wearing like a huge, heavy sumo wrestler suit or something like that. And underneath, there's this completely different person. It's like people always knew there was something amazing hiding underneath, but it was covered, it was hidden, it was weighed down. And now it's like you've stepped out of that suit and people can finally see you properly. And for some of you, that could tie into like past experiences where you struggled with confidence, heartbreak, insecurities, or feeling like you weren't living up to your full potential. Maybe people around you didn't support you properly or didn't hype you up when they should have done. Maybe people even projected limitations onto you. And for a while, you might have internalized that. You might have believed certain things about yourself, like, oh, I can't do that, or, that's not who I am. I could never do that. But it's like you've broken out of that now. You've realized that those labels were never yours to carry, and you've stepped outside of them. So as just one example, if someone in the past said to you, like, oh, you could never be a leader, like you're way too shy, or, you could never do that, and you kind of absorb that for a while, it's like now you flipped that narrative on its head. You're like, okay, but who actually says that I can't do that? Maybe I can do those things. Maybe I can do it in my own way. Maybe I don't have to fit one version of what confidence or leadership looks like. And that shift, that alone is something people are staring at, because it's very obvious that you are no longer limiting yourself in the same way that you were. And with that luck card, it does look from the outside like things are working out for you, like things are moving up and opportunities are coming in, or you're stepping into something better. People might be staring at you wondering how you did it. Like, how did Pal 3 do it? Or how you got where you are? Or how certain things seem to have landed in your lap. But I think that it goes way deeper than that, because, it's not just that you got lucky, right? It's that people feel lucky around you. It's like being in your energy makes people feel like good things could happen to them too. Almost like you have this Midas touch where anything you touch could turn to gold. And people want to be close to that. Of course they do. They feel like if they're in your orbit, it's like they're in the right place at the right time. And that naturally draws attention, because people are like, what is it about this person? There's just this sense that you're primed to attract the right opportunities, and people want to understand how you do that. With the lime on this card, I'm also thinking of like spicy margarita. There's something a little bit spicy about you. There's something that's a bit like of a kick. It's like a kick. Like, I'm thinking of the sourness of a lime, but there's something like fun and exciting about it. That's your energy. With the Three of Swords reversed and the Magician, I feel like it's very obvious to people. People are staring at you because whatever you've been healing from is visible. You don't look like your pain anymore if you ever felt like you did. You've taken something that hurt you in the past, something that could have held you back, and it's like you've turned it into your personal power. You have taken control of your narrative, and now it's like you're actively creating something amazing with it. The Magician here feels like you have realized that you can make things happen, and that shift in your mindset is something people can actually see from the outside. With Death and the Five of Cups, there's that sort of deeper transformation energy again, like potentially if you've gone through some kind of ending or a loss or an emotional shift and it changed you from the inside out, it's like instead of staying stuck in that energy, you've moved through it. You've allowed it to reshape you. There is still that awareness of what you lost, but you're not living in that place of grief anymore. And people can kind of feel that there's like a before and after version of you. You do not look like what you've been through, and that in and of itself makes people stare, because they're trying to understand how you've come out of it the way you have. But I also do feel like there could be someone specific here who is looking at you almost from that place of like, I lost that. Whether it's romantic or not, there is somebody who I think probably feels like they fumbled you, or, just didn't appreciate you properly at the time. And now it's like they're seeing you in this completely different energy and thinking, wow, I really messed that up. And it's like they can't stop looking because they are finally processing that realization. With the Queen of Wands and the Star, I feel like this is just undeniable, like stage presence. You've stepped into this energy where you are radiating so much confidence. You're expressive, you're warm, You are visible, but you still feel authentic. You're not trying too hard. People just notice you, that there's this natural glow about you. It's like you found yourself and you're shining in a way that feels very authentic. You feel like the main character. There's also something about your charm here that really stands out. I'm getting this sense that you guys can light up a room without even trying. People stare at you because you are just funny, you're hilarious, you're engaging, you tell good stories. You have the kind of personality where people just want to be closer to you. People flock to you naturally. And in the past, if you've ever had anyone who's tried to dull that, or, you know, they've made little snarky comments like, oh, you're not even that funny, or you're not even all that, or, you know, people don't care about your stories. It's like, now it's so obvious that that was never true. That was projection and jealousy, because you guys, your charisma is so real and people can feel it. And yeah, I definitely do feel like you guys could have experienced, you know, that jealousy before. Not just because of how you look, but just because of your natural personality. Like, there's something about your energy that has always been just a bit special, like a bit different, a bit more magnetic, and not everyone has loved that. But I feel like the important thing here is that that doesn't take anything away from you, because your radiance comes from deep within. Even if you go through phases where you are not feeling your best, like you feel a little bit off, or you're not prioritizing yourself as much, there's still something about you that shines through regardless. Like, you are one of those people who is just, quite honestly, like, you're hot no matter what, because your energy is hot. And honestly, yeah, you are the type of person who is just hot no matter what you do. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. I was trying to think of a better way to explain it, but it's like, even when you're not feeling hot, people still think you're hot. So a lot of the time people are staring at you simply because they think you are the baddest in the room. Some of you could have amazing smiles. People love your smile. You have like a really playful, maybe slightly coy, like slightly flirty energy about you. Maybe you have a certain smile that you do, or an expression that you do, that just has people completely hooked. It's like, as soon as you walk in, people's eyes are pinned on you. You become the focal point without even trying. And it's funny as well, because I'm looking at this tiger, and it's almost like people think that you're the prey at first, but there's an edge to you. There's a danger there. People feel like you are daring, like you could be a little bit of trouble, but in the best way. Like, you could lead them astray or match their energy, or you could take things further than they expected. There's something about you where people feel like you can read them instantly as well. Like, you can suss them out in seconds. So if someone comes towards you thinking they've got you figured out, or that you're like an easy target, it's as though you flip that energy very, very quickly. You've got this banter and this slightly cheeky, spicy way about you that keeps people on their toes, and it makes your energy very addictive. It's like, even if someone thinks that they're the one in control, or that they're getting you, it's more like it's because you're letting them think that, but you're always 10 steps ahead, right? There's something about the way you hold eye contact as well. Like, people can see that intensity in your eyes. And I'm getting like, you're always up for a challenge, especially like if somebody says that you can't do something, you look at them like this and they can just tell. They're like, oh shit, I shouldn't have said that, because you're like, want to bet? Like, you want to bet? I can't. Challenge accepted, sort of thing. You're not afraid to like go there or to say the thing. You're not afraid to do the thing. You're not afraid to spice things up and make things interesting. You'd be the kind of person that makes something like Plain Truth or Dare actually fun, because you would actually like take things a little bit too far. People see you as this kind of wild card, and people stare at you because there's a sort of raw and primal attraction there. It's not just about how you look though, although yes, like, you are physically attractive, most likely, but it's the way you carry yourself. It's this aura of like confidence and magnetism, along with like this sense of chaos that sort of jolts people awake. And yeah, even in those moments where you don't feel your best, like you're in your sweatpants with your hair up, you're not really trying, there are people who can't take their eyes off you, who would do anything to be next to you, and who are staring at you like you are the hottest person who has ever walked the face of the earth, because it's in your energy. It's like that raw, primal, sensual thing. Being around you, it feels like being on a very fun and unpredictable ride. Like, people don't know what you're going to do next, but they like this edge, or they like this danger. Yeah, there's this kind of flirty, charged energy around you as well. People feel this spark when they lock eyes with you, even in small interactions. There's something a little bit electric, like you touch someone and they're like, oh, like when they look at you or when they talk to you. It's like a butterflies in the stomach sort of feeling. And that adds to why people stare, because it's not just like admiration for you or feeling like you'll be successful. It's also being like activated by your presence. Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. People are activated when they look at you. So yeah, people stare at you because they think you've changed, and they think that change is obvious, that you've healed from something and stepped into your power, and in the process of that you've let go of old versions of yourself that you've grown out of, and it feels like you go places with purpose and intention, and they stare at you because you just give off this sense of vibrancy and life force, and because you don't wait around asking for permission before you live your life and you do something. It feels like you're in the process of becoming something amazing, and people are staring at you to try and watch that unfold. They want to bear witness to that. Alright, pal 3, that's what I'm getting for your reading today, and that's where I'm going to leave you today, my loves. If this resonated with you or you enjoyed the reading, please do me a massive favour and like, comment, hype, share or sub if you are able to. Honestly, any one of those things helps a small channel like mine out more than you could ever know, and I really, really appreciate it. I love hearing from you guys as well on a personal note, so feel free to let me know what resonated. Or just leave me an emoji or let me know which pile you picked, which crystal you picked. You can never overshare too much with me as long as it's done so with kindness. But yeah, with that said, thank you so much for being here. I really hope you enjoyed this one. Take care, and I will see you in the next one, pile 3. Hi, pal 4. If you chose the Bloodstone crystal and you chose the Britt's Third Eye Tarot, then you are in the correct place. Welcome to your reading, friends. This reading is titled Notice People Staring at You. Here's what they're thinking. Also, you guys might notice that I'm recording this on a different day. And excitingly, my bracelets from Otter Spirit have finally arrived just in time for your reading, pal 4. Now, for your reading, I decided to go with this beautiful Australian jade. I was trying to match the energy of your reading with my bracelet choices today. If you would like to find out more about Otter Spirit, I'll leave everything linked below. I talked about them in my intro. But yeah, I'll leave everything below, including my affiliate link, if you'd like to get a little discount off your purchase. But yeah, I just wanted to mention that because I was genuinely just so happy they arrived in time for this crystal-themed reading. I was hoping they would. So yeah, like, it's really nice that I'm able to do pal 4 and pal 5 wearing these bracelets. Anyway, with that said, enough waffling. If you'd like a full breakdown of everything this reading will cover, please feel free to check out the introduction. I go into all the details there. I will also leave some details in the pinned comment below for your reference. I'd recommend checking at least one of those out so you know what to expect from this reading today. But you were clearly drawn to this Bloodstone crystal, so let's start there. We are going to begin with a little energy check and explore what this might mean in terms of your aura, and we're going to look at why people can't seem to stop staring at you right now. So let's have a look, pile 4. We have Bloodstone. What it is, Bloodstone is an earthy green chalcedony spattered with seriously activating red jasper. In the Middle Ages, some believed the red splotches on the stone surface were the blood of Christ. Who needs it? They're constantly overworked and completely drained by the soul-sucking machinations of modern life, Capricorns. There's a lot of big words on this card. I'm sorry about my pronunciation, guys. Where to put it? Wherever you do the important work, spiritual, physical, and psychological. When to use it? When you're totally bled dry and it's time to get into your body and start feeling your damn self. Sleep, get some exercise, take nourishment, and call on Bloodstone to drag your ass out of the house to face the day. Chin up, head high, power up your vitals. Okay, interesting. Interesting. Okay, pal 4. So yeah, with the Bloodstone association, you could have Aries, Libra, or Pisces placements, but I am especially drawn to Capricorn or heavy Saturn energy for you guys, with it mentioning Capricorn on the card specifically. Even Aquarius could be relevant, you know, since it's traditionally Saturn ruled, but even if none of that applies to your chart, there is something about your aura that people read as very Saturn dominated. And one thing I want to say about you guys, people could stare at you because you guys kind of have that Benjamin Button effect. Like, you seem to get better and better with age, so people could stare at you because they're trying to work out how that's even possible, because whether it's been a few years or even a few decades, you just seem to improve over time. Like, there's something very, I don't know why I want to say preserved about you, almost like this vampire effect where you just haven't aged a day. And people, I think, are staring at you like, okay, what is their secret? Like, either they have a amazing injector, or it's just really good at genetics, or it's discipline, like, or maybe it's skincare, like, maybe it's their life experience. Like, what is it? They just look better and better over time. It's like they're trying to crack the code because, yeah, you just get better and better and better. There is also something about you naturally carrying responsibility, and I will say that, like, Saturn dominant people tend to be given a lot of responsibility from a relatively young age. And I feel like that shows up in your presence. Even if you don't necessarily feel like you have got it all figured out, powerful, it's as though people always look at you like you do. You give an energy of competence, like, I've got this, almost like an older sibling or a mentor or a boss, that kind of vibe. You guys could be even slightly intimidating, but in that sort of calm and composed way. It's like people will stare at you, they'll literally seek you out in a room because you're always going to be, to them, the most competent person there. Like, yeah, I'll ask powerful, they look like they know what they're doing. You just have a very sort of dependable and grounded, earthy presence. And at the same time, I'm getting that people stare at you because you always look like you're thinking about something very deep, even when you're not. Like, you guys could literally just be thinking about what you're having for lunch today, right? But people, I'm getting, they stare at you because it looks like you're contemplating the meaning of life. For some reason, I'm picturing that statue, is it called like the Thinking Man or something? There's something about your expression. Maybe some of you guys have like a slightly resting witch face. I think we've mentioned that in one of the other piles, but it's just the way you hold yourself. It makes you look very introspective, very like thoughtful and profound, like you're deep in philosophical thought, a sort of stoic vibe. And I think people get curious, like, what's going on in their head? They look so serious and deep in thought. And you could be thinking about like anything really. You could even be thinking about something funny, but like you have a straight face. There's also something, I think people stare at you because of your bone structure. There's something about bone structure for a lot of you. People could stare at your face because everything just sits so well on it, like your cheekbones, your jawline, your nose. I'm even getting like hands and feet for some of you. Like, there's something very elegant and refined, almost swan-like and graceful about your features or your bone structure. Even if you guys have insecurities, I am telling you right now, there are people who look at your features and wish that they had them, especially your nose for some of you. I'm hearing that specifically. And I feel like this could even be one of the reasons why you guys might tend to age really well. It's because you have like you have good bones, almost like when people say a house has good bones, like you have a good structure, so there's like no way that you can't age well or something like that. I am also getting this sense of some of you guys being quite private, and I'm literally hearing it's like getting blood from a stone, which makes sense because it's bloodstone, but it's like people can't quite get to you. You guys might tend to keep things very professional or very surface level unless someone is really like a big part of your inner circle. So people could stare at you trying to figure out what's underneath that professional mask, like who is powerful really, you know, what are they like outside of this particular setting, because you guys don't tend to give everything away easily. You're quite guarded, you're quite selective with who you share things with, and I feel like that makes people even more curious. And I do feel like some of you don't actually love being looked at or being perceived in that way. Like when the card talked about dragging your ass out of the house, I found that really funny because you guys in particular could enjoy your own space a lot. You could kind of go hermit mode a lot. Some of you could work from home, or you just prefer being at home, or like you go to work and then you immediately want to retreat back into your own little world. And it's not like, I'm hearing it's not that you hate being outside, because you guys could love nature. You might actually love like being outside, but it's more like, oh, I love going outside if it wasn't for all the people, if it wasn't for all the other people there, that kind of thing. Because when you do go out, especially when you guys are dressed up, like if you have a social engagement to go to, people stare at you a lot, and sometimes it can be a bit much. Sometimes you kind of like, you don't like being looked at for too long. You guys kind of want to crawl out of your own skin a little bit when people perceive you. So it actually can take a lot for you to want to come out of the house or say yes to social occasions. And I think it kind of ties back into that energy of you being kind of exclusive and harder to access than most. It's harder for people to get close to you, but I feel like that makes them try and figure you out more. There's also something coming through strongly about discipline here. So people could stare at you a lot when it's clear that you've been taking care of yourself, whether that's in terms of your routine, your health, your fitness, your nutrition. There's something about what you are doing that shows effort and consistency. Like people can really tell that you've been working on yourself. That radiates outwards. And because of that, it's also going to feel like time is kind to you, because when you take care of yourself, it shows on the outside for you guys specifically. There's something very like karmic about what people see and notice, I think, because on the flip side, it could be like you tend to find when you are not taking care of yourself, like if you're stressed or if you have a lot on, if there's too much on your plate, you might find that very quickly you look in the mirror and you can physically see like, oh, I'm so drained, like you can tell that I've not slept well recently or something like that. You could tend to find it shows up very quickly for you. So it could be really important for you guys to like take that time to take care of yourself. And yeah, on that flip side, it could be that people who care about you might sometimes stare at you out of concern, because you could be the type who like has had to learn that lesson the hard way. Like, you have just pushed through without asking for help or without saying anything. You've taken on too much. You just kept going. You've kept handling things, and like you've reached burnout or you've reached breaking point before. And I'm getting this message of like, just because you guys can carry a lot and because you're used to it, it doesn't mean that you should have to. And I do feel like sometimes your family, especially, like let's say you've been working loads of hours and they think you're picking up too many hours or you're not being able to take care of yourself, they might stare at you and they're like, are you okay? No, but really, are you okay? Like, especially if you've been overworking or not resting or not eating properly or just doing too much. You might even have people checking in like, are you sleeping well? Like, are you eating properly? When you start to slip up with that because you have other obligations. Because it's not always obvious when you're struggling, but I think sometimes the people who know you really well, it does show up in these subtle ways. I'm almost getting a family member sort of really staring at you, like scrutinizing you, because you could be like, oh yeah, I'm fine, leave me alone. And this family member is like, are you sure? Like, are you taking those iron supplements I gave you because you're looking quite pale or something like that? But yeah, like you don't usually admit when you're struggling. So sometimes the people who care about you have to like scrutinize you to figure it out. There's also, I know I mentioned karmic in relation to like you taking care of yourself, but I feel like there's also something karmic about how other people treat you. There's this slightly intimidating energy with it. People feel like if they do you wrong, it's going to come back on them tenfold. And it's not because you're doing anything, but it's just because that tends to happen. It's like the universe backed you. So people can sometimes feel a little bit spooked by that. Like they've seen what happens to people who cross you, or they've heard stories, or they've just clocked these patterns. And they're like, yeah, no, I'm not going to get on the wrong side of this powerful person. I don't know, it's something like that. They're thinking maybe like, what superpower have they got? What witchcraft have they done? But you haven't done any witchcraft. It's just like people who do you wrong, eventually their lives tend to fall apart. And that's something, it's like a pattern people have noticed. I don't know. I'm also getting there's something about you that just genuinely feels very rare. Especially with the whole blood of Christ symbolism. It's giving that you are precious and exclusive. You're hard to come by. People think those things when they stare at you. People feel like you're not something or someone they come across every day. You're not just commonplace, and you're not easy to access. And if they do get close to you, they know that that's something very, very valuable. There's absolutely an elegance to you, a classic kind of beauty is what I want to say, and a stoicism. I think we mentioned stoicism. Even when you're not trying, it's kind of like people project this wisdom onto you. It's almost like you're this wise old soul, but in a very young, youthful, attractive body. And people trust you. They do feel like you're solid and dependable, and definitely someone they'd want on their team, and they don't want to get on the wrong side of you. For some reason, I'm thinking of like classic beauties, like Audrey Hepburn, or I can't think of anybody else right now, but that sort of like classic, elegant, graceful beauty. People could stare at you because of the little details is something I'm getting, and I'm thinking of the word spattered. The card mentions the word spattered. I'm thinking of like a spattering of freckles. So some of you could have gorgeous freckles that people love, especially if you have freckles that come out more in the sun. People could stare at your freckles and think that they are just the cutest, most adorable thing ever. It's something like that. It doesn't have to be freckles exactly, but it could be something that's kind of like a contrast to this slightly professional, intimidating, composed demeanor. Like maybe you are composed a lot of the time and stoic, but then you have this one little cute dimple or something like that. It's like these details that people pay attention to. And that seems like a good place to move along to your tarot. So let's have a look at what else we've pulled for you, pal 4. Okay, so starting over here from the Modern Spiritual deck, we have Reunion. And from the Wild Whiskers Oracle, we have Devoted Dog, Honesty, Faithfulness, Dependability, Loyal and Faithful Friend of Man, Protect and Guide Me Between the Worlds. From the Shine Your Light Oracle, we have Embrace Your Inner Divine Goddess. And from the Green Witch Oracle, we have number 7, Passion, Beetroot. And starting over here with your tarot, we have got the 10 of Swords in reverse. Clarifying that, we have the 8 of Cups. We have got the Chariot. Clarifying the Chariot. We have the 3 of Wands. And we have the Ace of Cups. And clarifying the Ace of Cups, we have the Page of Wands. Beautiful. Gorgeous. So starting off with this Reunion card, I'm getting a really specific energy here, a specific example. People might often stare at you because they genuinely feel like there's that sense of deja vu, like they've seen you before. You might actually get that line a lot of like, have we met before? Or I swear that I know you from somewhere. And you're like, no, I don't think so. But people are convinced. I don't always think it has to be that literal though. For a lot of you, you could just remind people of someone. You could get told you look like a celebrity or even multiple celebrities. And I'm actually thinking of those Reddit threads where people post their picture to see who they look like, and people comment like, oh, you look like a mix of this person and this person, like multiple celebrities. It's never just one celebrity, it's always a mix. So some of you could literally look like the love child of 2 or 3 different people, if you know what I mean. Like, somebody could say, oh, you look like a mix of Megan Fox and Jessica Alba. I don't know, like, I don't know why those 2 just popped into my head, but yeah, something like that. People can see different faces in you depending on the angle and the lighting and the vibe. You could also have a tendency to look different in all of your pictures. Like, so if somebody shows somebody else a picture of you, they might be like, oh wait, I know that person from somewhere, but they can't figure it out. So people stare at you a lot trying to place you. They're thinking like, who is it that they remind me of, and they can't quite get a handle on it. But deeper than that, if we're not talking like so literally or so physically, I'm hearing the phrase real recognizes real. So there's something about you where looking at you feels familiar on like a soul level more than anything. This feeling of like they've known you before, even if they haven't met you in this lifetime. Yeah, some people might even say those things like, oh, I swear I've seen you in a dream before, or something like that. It's this thing that they can't quite place. You guys could have like a strong Neptune placement, something a little bit dreamy, or something a little bit, yeah, like inaccessible, like 12th house energy or something. But I also think it's part of the reason why there's that sense of safety that people feel with you, even if on the surface you don't consider yourself someone who's like super approachable or over the top bubbly. Even if you've got a more composed or even slightly guarded energy at times, people still feel like they are reuniting with someone they trust, like meeting up with a long lost friend. It's like, oh my god, thank god you're here when people encounter your energy. So in a room, people look out for you and they gravitate towards you without fully understanding why. It is something I'm getting. And for some of you, this could actually be more literal, like if you've had a reunion recently or you've got one coming up, like if you're reconnecting with people from your past. I would not be surprised if people are staring at you a lot in that setting, especially if you've changed over the years or you've had a glow up recently or you just carry yourself very differently now. People could be like, wait, is that actually path 4? Like, who is that? And then they're doing a double take, they're staring because you look so good or because it's quite shocking that you just haven't aged a day or something like that. Something about you just stands out. Like, who is that person? I can't quite place it, but I kind of recognize them. And for a few of you, there could actually be someone specific who wants a reunion with you. Like, maybe this is somebody who is looking at your socials if they have access to those, or just they're thinking about you, or they're just hoping that they'll bump into you again. Someone, it definitely feels like they're saying, I wish I could reconnect with that person. So yeah, that could be relevant for a few of you. Now with this devoted dog, you come across as someone who is very loyal. This is something people notice about you. Like when you guys love someone, you really love them. You really show up, you go the extra mile, you're dependable, you're consistent. And I feel like people admire the way you treat the people you love, like whether it's your friends or whether it's your partner, it's so clear that you really do care about people. And people, I feel like they stare at you and they genuinely think like, I wish I had someone like that in my life. Like I wish I had someone who cared about me that much. So I don't know, maybe somebody sees you and your partner or you and your friends in public and that is genuinely something they think. Like they smile to themselves when they think about how you treat people and how you show up for them. But at the same time, I feel like for a lot of you, people are like that with you as well. I'm literally getting, like an image of a dog just staring at its owner like they are the most important thing in the entire universe. It's like when you've got a treat and the dog is just locked in, staring at it, drooling with its eyes glued to its owner. That's the energy. People kind of look at you with that level of adoration. Almost like people are like simping over you, or I don't know, sometimes it can get quite intense. Like people hang on your every word, like they're waiting for you to speak, waiting to see what you'll do, waiting for some kind of guidance from you. That's coming through quite strongly. There's also a kind of dominant undertone to it where people actually like the idea of you taking the lead. You could sometimes attract people who have a tendency to be submissive or they're a bit unsure of themselves or they can be a bit lost, and it's like they look to you like you've got the direction, like you know what you're doing. And it's giving me this energy of somebody saying to you like, oh, just tell me what to do and I'll do it. Almost like people want to submit to you. It's almost like, oh, you're my master, like I will do anything you say. Now with this Embrace Your Inner Divine Goddess card, yeah, you give off this very like untouchable, unattainable energy. There's something ethereal about you as well. There's something, it's soft but it's also like powerful at the same time. People feel like they have to approach you properly. They need to come correct with you. And for some reason, I don't know why this is coming into my head, but I'm thinking of Aaliyah from Queen of the Damned, and I'm thinking of the club scene, and I'm thinking when she walks in and like the energy of the room just shifts, like everyone can sense that somebody important has just walked in and time kind of slows down a little bit. I'm getting that with you. It's like everyone turns to look at you, or conversations pause, people clock your energy without even necessarily meaning to. There's something about your presence and the power in it that just naturally pulls attention. And yeah, I'm definitely getting this sense of people stare at you because you're a timeless beauty, which I think we did touch on in your energy check. But I'm getting you guys won't look out of place in a vintage photo or a painting. There's something very classic about your features and your bone structure and the way you carry yourself. And even if you guys personally shy away from attention for the most part, I feel like people can't help but stare at you. Like, even just the beauty in the way you are, like as you are naturally, I'm getting that people stare at you, like your side profile, your figure, your posture, the little details that you might not even think about. People notice it and they think those things are gorgeous. And yeah, with the passion card, people are very drawn to you in a sensual way at times. I think there's something about you that creates this reaction in people that's not just based on admiration, it's like desire. And I think what makes it stronger is the fact that you're just not easily impressed. You guys, I feel like you don't tend to chase attention. You're not begging to be seen. You just kind of mind your business. And I feel like that actually makes people want your attention even more. And this could get frustrating at times because it's like the more unavailable you seem, or the more uninterested, the more nonchalant, the more it pulls people in. Like the less you look in someone's direction, the more they're like silently begging you to look in their direction. And I feel like for you guys, when someone starts getting to know you, it doesn't take long for feelings to develop. And then you could catch people stealing glances at you, especially in those early stages. Like if you think back to early stages of dating someone, it's like somebody could be trying to play it cool. But I feel like you guys are a master of playing it cool. And it's so clear that they're not cool. Like you clock them glancing at you, and then I feel like they get flustered because I'm thinking of like somebody's face flushing with that passion card with the beetroot. I'm thinking of somebody's face going red and trying to look away like they weren't just staring at you. So you could notice you get a lot of people getting crushes on you and then looking up and you clock them and then they quickly look away or something like that. And for some of you, I feel like this energy intensifies even more when it comes to like intimate settings. I feel like people you've been involved with don't just want to rush through moments with you. Like they want the time to actually look at you and to take you in, because there's something about your energy that makes people want to like really take their time on you and take you in properly. I feel like if anyone were to get an intimate experience with you, they'd kind of realize how lucky they are, and they'd want to sort of like slow down and enjoy it and just take some time to stare at you, to admire you during that process. So with the Ten of Swords reversed clarified by the Eight of Cups, it's definitely giving that energy of you walking away from something that really took it out of you, but it's like you did it in a way where you've actually taken your power back in the process. Because, you know, sometimes upright, the Ten of Wands, it signifies that rock bottom. So that could be the burnout or the betrayal, like just that feeling of being completely done. But reversed, and also like with the Eight of Cups underneath it, it's kind of saying like, yeah, you know, that happened, but I'm not staying there. It's like you've processed it enough to know that you deserve better, and you've chosen to remove yourself from things that drain you, even when it hasn't been easy. And I think that's something people really do notice about you, not in a bad way, but I feel like people stare and they hang on your every word because they can genuinely tell that you're not someone who clings to things just for the sake of it. Like, I feel like a lot of people admire you, like in terms of your behavior and your self-respect. You are what a lot of people want to be, because you can cut people off if they push you too far. You can detach even when it's hard, even like when you're super loyal and you love someone, like you're not going to stay where you're being mistreated. And I feel like a lot of people look up to that, and part of the reason they stare at you, it's like to get your advice and to listen to what you have to say, because they know that you've been through it, right? And you're not going to sit there and just tolerate nonsense to keep the peace. There's definitely this huge level of self-respect where if something doesn't feel right anymore, you will quietly get up and go. You won't make a scene, you won't kick off. It hits people even harder, the fact that you don't kick off, the fact that you just leave, the fact that you're just like, you're not going to treat me like that. And it's this calm, like almost detached energy of like, this just isn't for me anymore, you know? I think I mentioned this in my reading recently, but I'm thinking, I can't remember which reading it was, but I'm thinking of the America's Next Top Model scene where the girl just gets up and goes. She's like, I don't think this is for me. It's giving that. It's giving like decisive. And I feel like people really are kind of in awe of that. Like they wish they could do that sometimes. But I'm getting like, if we're talking literally, people literally could stare at you as you walk away. There's this element of like, maybe they enjoy the view. But I feel like for most of you, it is deeper than that. But I just wanted to mention that. But yeah, hate to see you leave, love to watch you go. That sort of thing could be coming through. But yeah, I think it's more the fact that people find it powerful, the way you just remove yourself. It kind of shows your strength and your boundaries, and that you're not afraid to choose yourself. And that gives goddess energy. That gives like, I know my worth sort of energy. Because a goddess doesn't beg for scraps from anyone. A goddess knows she is there to be worshipped. And I feel like a lot of the time people do want to worship you. I think that's a big reason they stare at you. They're like, I would literally kiss that person's feet. Like, I would worship the ground they walk on. Or like, if they were mine, I wouldn't ever take them for granted. I feel like a lot of people stare at you and that's what they think. They're like, I would give that person everything they want. Like, if they were mine. This could be a very random extra confirmation, but I'm also getting something. I know we mentioned bone structure earlier, but I'm drawn to looking at her like lower cut dress. Somebody could be obsessed with your collarbones or your neck. And I guess I'm thinking of, I know that sounds weird, but I'm thinking of what we said earlier about like, you could be a vampire because you don't age. I'm thinking of like pulse points on the neck. So somebody could stare at you and think that they want to kiss you all over, like they want to kiss you on the neck. Or they're looking at your collarbone and they're like, I just want to kiss it. Like, I just want to explore and take my time with powerful. It's not that kind of reading today. It's not like a spicy reading, but I don't know, that's coming through. So I just wanted to mention it. Maybe you've been with somebody in the past who was like obsessed with your body and just couldn't get enough of it and just wanted to kiss you all over. So that's coming through. I don't know how much I can say on YouTube, so I'm not going to elaborate too much on that. But yeah, back to the thing about like you giving people guidance. Even if you don't realize it, powerful, it's like people see you as someone who has been through things and you've come out wiser for it. And so people really do trust your judgment and kind of depend on your word. And people might not always say it out loud, but watching how you move and how you make decisions and how you handle the situations that you've been through, people really feel like you know what you're doing. Like, you've got a lot of wisdom and you've got a lot of strength. And there's also this awareness that people have with you where they know that you're not dependent on other people. And people feel lucky to have access to you. And sometimes they stare at you just thinking like, I'm so lucky to have this person in my life because they have so much wisdom. Like, they still seem so young and youthful, but they've been through so much. And I just admire them so much. Now, with the Ace of Cups clarified by the Page of Wands, this is where things get really interesting to me because this is definitely that energy of you like sparking something in people. I'm getting that you genuinely awaken feelings in them that they didn't even realize were there. Because the Ace of Cups is emotional openness. It talks about emotional openness or new feelings or new connections. And then the Page of Wands is that sense of excitement. It's curiosity. It's that little spark of like, oh, what's this? So when people interact with you, it doesn't just feel surface level. It's like something gets switched on in them. It's like flipping a switch. And I think what makes this even stronger is that kind of contrast in you. That duality. You know, we always talk about duality. I'm surprised I've not referenced it more actually. But yeah, on like one hand, you guys can come across as quite composed and quite contained, and maybe even a little bit reserved depending on the situation. But I feel like underneath that, there is definitely this sort of playful and passionate, slightly unpredictable kind of energy that people can feel, but they can't fully access. And that's what keeps them guessing, and it's what keeps them staring. Because it's like they know there's more to you, but they can't fully get to it. And instead of it like putting them off, it actually pulls them in more. It makes them more curious. It makes them want to get closer, to understand you better, to see what you're like when you do open up. And for some of you, I feel like this is definitely tying into someone from your past, like maybe someone you've had chemistry with, where things felt exciting or maybe a little bit intense, but for whatever reason, it didn't fully come together. And now it's like that person is looking at you again, whether that's in real life or whether it's on socials, and they're thinking like, yeah, I felt something there. Like, there was definitely something there. And maybe they're regretting that it fell apart or it didn't come together or something. It could have been somebody who said to you that they didn't even know that they could have those feelings and it surprised them. Maybe it freaked them out a little bit and they backed off. I don't know. But I feel like the thing with you, Powerful, is you're not waiting around for anyone. But yeah, if this was a specific person, I feel like potentially that person could be staring at you a lot or trying to stare at you a lot, trying to read you, trying to figure out if there's still something there on your end or if they've completely missed their chance. And it's a little bit like they're realizing your value after the fact, which is unfortunate. Now, with the Chariot clarified by the Three of Wands, this is that bigger picture energy. This is you not just moving on from things the way you do, but actively moving towards better things. Because the Chariot talks about willpower and direction and momentum. It's very much that energy of like, I know where I'm going, I know how I'm getting there. And then the Three of Wands is all about like expansion and future planning and looking ahead at what's next. And so together, it's like you're always progressing, you're never stagnant, and people see that. People see that you're always doing something, or you're always climbing the mountain, or working towards a goal, or expanding and becoming more and more successful. Even if you're not announcing it loudly to everyone, because you don't need to, like even if you're not telling absolutely everyone your plans, there's something about the way you carry yourself naturally that says like, I'm going somewhere and I'm not going to let anyone stop me. So people stare at you because it looks like you've got purpose. You're not just drifting through life. There's actually sort of intention behind your actions, even if you do take your time with things before taking action. And I am definitely getting something about you being observant. Like, you don't just jump into things blindly. You're very pragmatic. You watch, you take things in, you tend to assess the situation before you move. And when you do move, it's very decisive. So people look at you essentially like you're always one step ahead. Like, the cogs in your mind are always turning. You might not say much, but people can tell you're processing things and figuring things out and predicting outcomes. And I feel like this is one of the reasons they could look to you for guidance, because they know that you take everything in. There's something really steady about it. Even in chaotic situations, you guys never seem to lose your control or composure. You might feel a lot internally, but outwardly, you guys tend to hold it together. And I feel like people notice that and admire it more than you probably realize. They see you as somebody who can handle things, somebody who never crumbles under pressure, and somebody who can navigate difficult situations and still come out being able to move forward and not collapse, even when you've been pushed to your brink. And I feel like that goes back to that message of, like, it is really important to take care of yourself, powerful, because you have this energy where, like, you never let people see you fumble, but sometimes it is okay to be vulnerable. So when people stare at you, it's not just because of how you look, although yes, they think you're gorgeous with amazing bone structure probably, but it's because they feel like they're witnessing someone who has that depth and resilience and direction and a presence about you. You have a big presence about you. Alright, powerful, that's what I'm getting for your reading today, and that's where I'm going to leave you today, my loves. If this reading resonated with you, or if you enjoyed it, please do me an absolutely massive favour and like, comment, hype, share, or subscribe if you get a chance. Honestly, any one of those things helps a small channel like mine out more than you could ever know, and I really, really do appreciate it. On a personal note, I love hearing from you guys, so feel free to let me know what resonated, or just leave an emoji, just let me know which pal you picked, which crystal, or just let me know what you're up to. You can never overshare too much with me as long as it's done so with kindness. But yeah, thank you so much for being here today. I hope you enjoyed this one. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one, powerful. Hi, Pal 5. If you chose the Honey Calcite crystal and you chose the Lovely Ladies Tarot, you are in the correct place. Welcome to your reading, friends. This reading is titled, Noticed People Staring at You? Here's what they're thinking. Also, quick exciting note before we start. I am recording this on a different day. Well, I'm recording Pals 4 and 5 on a different day. And excitingly, my bracelets from Otter Spirit have arrived, and I really, really were hoping that they'd arrive in time for this reading, and they have arrived in time for Pals 4 and 5 because it's a crystal themed reading. So for Pal 5, I just wanted to let you know that I am wearing the beautiful Carnelian bracelet because I feel like this just matches you guys and your energy. It makes me think of like beautiful, warm, sunny, confident energy. So yeah, I'm really happy to work with Otter Spirit. So check out my introduction because I go into detail there. But I'll also leave everything linked below, including my affiliate link for a discount off your purchase. Anyway, if you would like a full breakdown of everything this reading will cover, feel free to check out the introduction. I do go through absolutely everything there. I will also leave some details in the pinned comment below for your reference. I'd recommend checking at least one of those out so you know what to expect today, but you were clearly drawn to this honey calcite, so let's start there. We're going to begin with a little bit of an energy check. We're going to explore what you choosing the honey calcite might mean in terms of your aura, and we're going to look at why people can't seem to stop staring at you right now. So I'm going to go ahead and read out what's on the card to begin with. So, honey calcite. What it is, a honey-hued mineral on a mission to turn the bewildered and bumbling into super-driven worker bees. Who needs it? Anyone with a job to do. The brilliant but lazy. Any Taurus. Where to put it, instead of banging your forehead repeatedly on your desk, try a gentle kiss of honey calcite there instead. When to use it. When the barriers to abundance feel too big to power through. When it's time to stop waiting your turn and stop waiting until tomorrow. Picture yourself triumphant on the other side of whatever stands in your way and call on honey calcite to kick in the door, break through your limits. Okay, Pal 5, I absolutely love this energy. So first of all, people absolutely stare at you because you just have this warm, I don't even know how to describe it, like radiant, golden, sunshiny, beautiful kind of energy. You guys genuinely light up a room. I think we said that on one of the other pals today, but you guys really do. Like, you are sunshine in a person, and I don't even think you always realize just how much of an impact that has. But it's like you can walk in the room and things just feel a bit lighter, things feel a bit softer, things just feel a bit nicer. And I'm literally hearing the phrase, you go down a treat. It's almost like you are this silky, smooth, easy flowing honey that people just cannot get enough of. You are like an ice cold glass of sweet lemonade on a hot summer's day. You are refreshing, you are comforting. It's like people didn't even realize they needed you until they have you, and then it's like, I cannot get enough, I want to gobble this up. And because of that, you know, people flock to you like honey. There is something about you that's just so inviting. You guys come across as really sweet, really approachable, really kind. I feel like people stare at you and they're just like, oh, this person just makes my heart burst. Like, this person is just an absolute sweetheart. I adore them. Like, you have just got that energy where people feel like they could melt into you. Like, your presence is essentially a warm hug, and it kind of makes people forget about everything in the world that's going to shit for a second. You genuinely uplift people just by existing. Like, people feel better from being around you, and I don't think this is something you're forcing. You are just naturally like a very positive influence on people. It's almost like your presence is physically good for them, like good for their health, because I'm thinking of how honey has all these healing, nourishing, antioxidant properties. That is literally your energy. You're like an antidote, you're a medicine to people. For some of you, people could stare at you because this honeyness shows up in a very physical way. Some of you could have a warm golden glow to your skin, especially if you guys have been away recently or you've caught a bit of sun. There's also something about you that people stare at because you look soft and silky and well taken care of. Like, people look at you and think that you are a delight to the senses. Like, you're one of those people that people look at and they're like, I bet that person smells good. But it's all of the senses. It's like your voice is nice on their ears, you are nice to look at, and they're like, I bet they smell good, I bet they taste good. It's not that kind of reading, but just like you take care of yourself, you know, like you look well lotioned, you look well maintained is something I want to say, and there's something about it that gives a little bit of luxury as well. And you don't have to be a Taurus, but you could have Taurus in your big three or strong Taurus placements or second house energy, because the card mentions Taurus. So it's not just about how you look, it's this feeling that you give. You guys have this everyday luxury about you. It could come through in the way you dress, the textures you wear, how you carry yourself. It all gives this sense of like richness and warmth, like you enjoy the finer things in life, or you just seem like you embody that energy. Yeah, people stare at you and they're like, oh, I just know this person feels soft. Like, I know their skin is smooth. I know they smell amazing. I know that being close to them would be a whole experience. Like, you are genuinely a delight to the senses. There's also something kind of regal about you. Leo placements could be relevant for some of you. It's like you carry yourself in this calm, self-assured way where it doesn't seem like you need validation from anyone. You guys look steady and you look grounded. It's like you know exactly who you are and what you're all about. And that makes people look at you like you're someone important. It's almost like you're that girl or that guy without even trying, this kind of main character energy. And at the same time, there is like a gentleness to you. Some of you guys could have a really soothing voice. It's like people could hear you talking and they kind of look around, they're trying to like stare to see like who has that voice. They're like, that is a beautiful voice. Like, maybe even something like people could imagine you being a really good singer because of your voice or something like that. You are an easy presence. There's nothing about you that's harsh or overwhelming or overstimulating. You are just nice to be around. You're easy to listen to. You're easy to exist with. I wouldn't be surprised if people assume you have money as well, like because you seem very well taken care of, and that might not be the case. You could just be like well maintained because you do put the effort in, like you are disciplined. Like, maybe you always have your nails done, but maybe you do your own nails. Like, you don't have to spend a lot of money, but it is something that kind of screams bougie, or like this person has high standards, this person, like, they look after themselves. That's what it seems like. But even if you guys haven't put much effort in because you don't have time or you don't want to, which is fine, you guys still manage to look very polished and very well put together and just glowing. And you kind of give off this, yeah, like opulent, slightly bougie, slightly luxurious vibe without it feeling too forced. And yeah, for some of you, there could be specific things people stare at, like your hair, your eyes, your skin tone. Some of you could have like honey-coloured eyes or honey-coloured hair, or beautiful skin that people tend to compliment. Some of you could look really good in earthy colours, like people stare at you more when you're in earthy colours because you really suit them or something. Some of you could have recently changed your hair to be like a more honey or caramel tone, or you would really suit that. But honestly, I'm getting something like people stare at you because you're everybody's type is something I'm getting. And I don't say that lightly. Like, I will say if something's coming through where I'm like, oh, you're kind of a polarizing person. And I feel like, to be honest, you know, nobody is liked by absolutely everyone, right? Like, everybody is polarizing to somebody. But for the most part, like, you're as close as it gets to being liked by everybody. Pal 5, I think you would be surprised because you are not one of those people who's like an acquired taste. With you, it's like most people can find something about you that they're drawn to. Very different people will be attracted to different aspects of you. But overall, you appeal to a lot of people very, very effortlessly. And it's like once people get stuck on your energy, it's kind of the way honey is sticky. Like they get attached. Like once people clock you, it's over. They just keep on looking. And I feel like I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, when you meet someone, if you're out with your friends or something, I won't be surprised if your friends are always coming to you afterwards saying like, oh, this person wanted your Instagram or they wanted your number or something like that. And I feel like when people approach your friends about you, when they're like, oh, you know, I vibed with Pal 5, like, oh, I really liked them, or I was really attracted to them, or whatever it is, whether they want to be friends or whether it's more than that, I feel like your friends kind of roll their eyes, they're used to it because they're like, yeah, of course you do, like, everyone loves Pal 5, like, everyone is obsessed with them, everyone's attracted to them. I think it's kind of become a running joke at this stage. But yeah, I also feel like this kind of ties into your softness physically as well. Like if you guys have got a softer face, softer features, curves, anything like that, people don't just find it cute and adorable, they also find it really, really attractive and desirable. You guys look huggable, you look comforting, you look nurturing, you look like somebody they just want to be close to, but people admire you close up but also from afar. And I also feel like it's even about the little things, like the little details, like somebody could accidentally touch your hand or brush past you and they might be like, oh my god, why is their skin so soft? Like, how is it so soft? And they might do a double take, or, you know, they could walk past you and get a whiff of this beautiful perfume and they look back at you like, who is that? Like, what are they wearing? It's like you leave an impression even in small amounts. But as much as I'm getting these messages about like being soft and being gentle, I also feel like you guys are not somebody to be messed with. I'm getting that strongly. You guys, you very much have like a work hard, play hard energy. Like when you need to focus, you focus. And I'm getting that you can be kind of stubborn. Again, it's that sort of Taurus vibe of like, when you're locked in on something, you're like, no, this is what I'm doing. Nobody's distracting me. Like my mind is made up. And I feel like people can see that determination in your face sometimes. Like, yeah, that stubbornness and that discipline of once you're doing something, once your mind is made up, nobody can really talk you out of it. Nobody can give you their opinion. You're like, that's that, you know, it's done. It's a done deal. Like nobody can really give you advice if you don't need it, if you've already decided. But I feel like on the flip side to that, when you're in your relaxed, social and fun energy, you really know how to let loose and enjoy yourself. I'll just say that. Like, you guys know how to have a good time. You know how to indulge a little bit. You know how to make things feel fun and exciting and add a little bit of luxury to everyday experiences. Like, I don't know, I feel like you guys, you could get in this mode sometimes where you're working really, really hard and you're like, oh, I've got to like pick up all these shifts or do this extra work so that I can save money. Like you can be disciplined and sensible in that way. But sometimes like you can kind of be the opposite of like, but when it's time to splurge, I really know how to treat myself. And this could be something that makes people, again, do a double take because one minute you're in a mode of like, I need to focus on this. And the next you're like, oh, let's go shopping. Let's do some retail therapy. Let's splash out. Or like, you know how to upgrade experiences. Like, I don't know, let's say you go on a girls trip or something like that. You know how to like spice it up. Like, I don't know, but it could kind of make people stare at you like, Power 5, what are you doing? And you're like, fuck it, let's do this. I'm thinking of something like, you're on a girls trip and you're like, oh, you know what would make this experience even more fun? If we ordered champagne or something like that. It's something where it's like splurging a little bit or adding a bit of luxury to an already fun experience to sort of elevate it a bit. And your girls might be looking at you like, what are you doing? Like, I thought you were saving up. And you're like, fuck it, champagne for everyone or something like that, because you really know how to let loose when it's time to let loose. I feel like you guys aren't the type to deny yourself experiences is what I want to say. Like, you're not frivolous with it. You can be sensible in terms of like saving up and things like that. but also you're like, what's the point if I work hard and I don't enjoy my life? So if you're going to go out, you're going to enjoy it properly. Or like, I'm thinking of even something like going out to eat. If you're going to go to a nice restaurant, you're like, I'm not just going to like get the salad because I have to be disciplined all the time and eat the bare minimum, like because I'm on a diet or something. You're going to be like, no, I'm going to splash out. Like, this is an experience that I've paid for and I'm going to enjoy it. Like, and I'm going to make sure everyone around me enjoys it as well. Like, it just feels much more enjoyable when you're around. You make things feel richer and fuller and just more exciting. So I feel like people stare at you because they're like, yeah, I could have a really good time with this person. Or they want to give you a good time. They want to give you some good experiences. Take that in whatever way it resonates. There is this energy of people wanting to like spoil you and treat you and just experience things with you. And there's something about people staring at you when you're having a pleasurable time. So again, take that as it resonates, but people could like to see the look on your face when you're enjoying yourself. Like they like to see your face light up or something. I'm also getting this kind of Taurus second house energy. So you could come across as somebody who is very valuable. Like, people stare at you because they genuinely think you're the prize, or you feel like somebody who should be cherished. But I'm also getting this kind of fifth house Leo energy, and I'm thinking of you having like a slightly playful, whimsical side to you. You guys really know how to enjoy your life, and you have that sense of curiosity and that ability to just have fun and enjoy the moment. And yeah, people love staring at you and seeing you enjoy yourself. People smile when they see you enjoying yourself. It's like people stare at you because you always look like you're having fun, and that energy is kind of contagious. And it's like, even the way you interact with people, there's something very smooth about it. Like, you know how to talk to people, you know how to navigate the room, how to handle situations, and you know how to get your point across without being overly harsh about it. It just feels so good to be around you. And yeah, that's why people can't stop staring. So I feel like this would be a good time to move along to your tarot and have a look at the rest of your oracle cards, Pal 5. So from the Modern Witch Spiritual deck, we have Courage. From the Wild Whispers Oracle, we have Elegant Eagle, Clarity, Inspiration, Insight. Ancient and Sacred Beast of the Skies, awaken my spirit to soar to new heights. From the Shine Your Light Oracle, we have got Stop Judging and Start Loving. From the Green Witch Oracle, we have number 21, Trust Basil. And your lovely ladies tarot, we have the Eight of Cups. That has come through in so many of the readings today. We have the Eight of Cups, clarified by the Eight of Pentacles. We have the Empress, beautiful, clarified by the Page of Wands. I think the Page of Wands has come through in a few of the readings today as well. And we have the Two of Swords, clarified by the Four of Cups. So starting with this Courage card, you guys have a kind of self-contained confidence. It's not a sort of performative, fake confidence, and it's not really like you're trying to prove anything to anyone, but your power and your self-devotion, it speaks for itself, essentially. People look at you, they stare at you, and they can tell, like, this is someone who has done their healing, like, they have done their shadow work. People can tell that you have moved through things, and now it's like you're choosing to live in a lighter and more loving energy towards yourself and towards others. But at the same time as that, you are not soft in a way that makes you a pushover. It's not like that at all. And I feel like that's something where people can kind of get it twisted at first, because you are very sweet, you are very warm. But if somebody crosses a line with you, Pal 5, you can absolutely stand up for yourself and you can tear them a new one. But you will do it in a way, like, that's the thing about you, you'll do it in a way that doesn't compromise your integrity. Like, you don't need to get nasty or stoop to anyone's level, but there is an intensity there where you can switch. And I'm looking at, like, the intensity in the wolf's eyes on this card. It's like, you didn't just try that with me, you didn't try that. And I can actually see people staring at you in those moments where you kind of need to, like, discipline them in a way, because they're shocked, because they're used to you being so kind and so, like, easygoing and calming, but suddenly you can be like, no, I'm not having that, and you shut something down properly and you shut it down quickly. And it's that energy of, like, people are kind of like, oh shit, like, I need to be careful, because you don't play about the things that drain your energy. And because of that as well, I do feel like people are saying that Also, like, they actually need courage to approach you. I feel like more often than not, people stare at you and they admire you from a distance. They can't stop looking at you, but often they aren't brave enough to come forward. So you guys, you've definitely got a lot of secret and maybe not so secret admirers. You have a lot of people who are just kind of staying in their lane because I think they feel like you've probably got like a long line of people already trying to get close to you, so they kind of feel like, oh, join the queue sort of thing. But what I find really, really sweet as well about your energy pal 5 is that even when you guys do have to reject someone, you do it in such a sweet and generous way that it doesn't even feel like a rejection. Like, your rejection feels like a warm hug. You could literally be saying no, but you're also like complimenting them at the same time. You're being kind, you're hyping them up, and they walk away feeling like, okay, I still kind of feel good though. Like, I don't feel embarrassed or humiliated. I mean, they said no, but I feel like I just made a friend or something like that. That was actually really nice, which is so, so rare. And I feel like this is where that sort of non-judgmental energy comes in, especially with this stop judging and start loving card. People stare at you because they immediately feel like you are a safe place. Like, they can come to you with absolutely anything and you will not judge them. You do not give off a vibe of somebody who needs to put down others to feel better about themselves. You do not give off a vibe of like, oh, I'm better than you. If anything, it's the opposite. People can tell that you have real self-confidence because you don't need to like do that. You don't need to play the comparison or jealousy game, and you don't need to justify your choices for validation. So people can tell that you have real, genuine self-respect for yourself and for others. If you're a woman, this is very much giving like girl energy. When you compliment people, it is genuine, and when you're kind, it's very real. There's no like backhandedness, there's no weird bitchy undertone. You actually really want people to feel good, and that's why people feel so safe around you. And I'm also getting this thing of like, when something needs to be shut down, you'll do it. Like, if someone is being unnecessarily judgmental, talking shit, being two-faced, I can literally see you putting your hand up like this lady on the card and being like, no, we're not doing that. We're not doing none of that. That's messy. We're not going there. And it's not dramatic. It's just like shutting things down in a very grounded and, yeah, like self-respecting way. There's something about people staring at you because they always feel like you have a higher perspective. It's as though you can see multiple sides of a situation. I'm getting, for example, if a group of people are being negative about someone, I can imagine you being the one who's like, okay, but maybe we're assigning too much meaning to why that person did that. Maybe they didn't have this bad intention. Maybe they did it because of this. Or like, you just try to bring a more neutral understanding into it. You guys, it's like you always want to see the good in people, but you are not naive. Like, that's the thing. You can read intentions. You just choose to approach things, I think, with compassion first. And I think it very much lends itself to that phrase, like, you can catch more flies with honey. That energy is very you. So people look at you and they just feel this warmth and this genuine compassion. I can imagine you being the type to like save a baby bird. There's something about you maybe having a really special connection with animals that people are obsessed with. It could be like you go around to someone's house and their dog or their cat is obsessed with you, and the person's staring at it like, oh my god, my dog doesn't like anyone but they love you, or something like that. With the 8 of Cups clarified by the 8 of Pentacles, there's something about the way you walk away. And I think we got a little bit of this in Pal 4 as well, but there's something about you like quietly removing yourself from situations that are no longer for you. You give the vibe of like not being about the drama, so you don't necessarily make a scene or drag it out. You just kind of quietly decide like, yeah, you know what, I'm done here, and you go on your way. And I feel like people notice that about you, and they can tell that you don't really stay in places where you're not fulfilled. People notice that you are always like moving on to bigger and better things. You're always bettering yourself. And if a situation isn't serving your highest good, you won't stay in it. And people have a lot of respect for that. Yeah, there's something about you always having something going on in the background. Like, even if you leave something, you're not just doing nothing after it. You've always got something you're working on, something you're building, something you're focused on. People stare at you and they can tell you're someone who's kind of, I don't know if the word is like fulfilled, but like, I'm trying to think of how to explain it. It's not necessarily, I wanted to say like not attention seeking, but it's not just that. I mean, one example I'm getting, if you're a woman, is like People stare at you and they can tell that you have your own things going on, like your own hobbies. So maybe like people notice that you're not like male-centered or seeking attention. If you are a heterosexual woman, like people notice that you always have your own thing going on. Like you seem like somebody who is very well-rounded, like has hobbies and things to do, and has a life outside of whatever they're doing in a given moment. And if there is a particular situation you've left, if there's something you've healed from, I feel like people are staring at you because they can see that you've worked on yourself, like you've refined yourself and you've put effort into who you are and you've built yourself up properly. And that shows externally. People look at you and they can tell that there's depth there and there's discipline. And as someone who didn't just like avoid the hard things, but actually grew from them. And we did get this in Pal 4, I think, as well. But with the 8 of Cups, I have to say it, people could like your butt. They could hate to see you leave, but love to see you walk away. I'm sorry, I always just mention that with the 8 of Cups. Yeah, people could think you have a nice behind. That could apply. But I'm also getting this message of like, people not wanting to see you go. People look for you in a given room because they feel like they want to spend more time with you. And you guys, especially if you're more introverted or you like your own space, you like to relax and chill on your own terms, you could have a tendency to like leave social events early, or you dip out because you want to go home and take a nap or eat some food or something like that. You want to be in your own space. And people could literally be looking around for you like, wait, where has Pal 5 gone? Because you've just kind of disappeared into the night. But they find that the vibe kind of shifts when you're not there. Like, it's less fun when you're not there. So people could look out for you a lot. I'm also getting this feeling of people never quite getting enough time with you. People could genuinely just sit there and look at you all day. That's something I'm hearing very clearly. And I feel like people just find you so pretty that they're saying that they could just sit and stare at you all day. Like they could be in your energy all day because it's just so pleasant. Your energy is just so nice to be around. And I think that people notice when it's gone. And I'm also getting something here about like excellent craftsmanship. I know that sounds random, but it's like people look at you and they feel like everything about you is intentional. From your face to your body to the way you dress, the way you carry yourself, it all just works. And people are saying like everything is tailor-made, like your outfits, they look like they fit you so perfectly. They're saying it's made to a high standard. And I'm actually feeling like people think you're so beautiful that they're saying like, you know, God really took his time with Pal 5. Like they are made to like the highest standard. People can't even pick out a flaw, like even if they tried. So they could stare at you like thinking, oh, there must be something wrong, but they can't find anything. They're like, they just look really good. Like I could look at this person all day. They are beautiful. You could have a really creative energy about you too. You could wear like little whimsical handmade accessories, or you could have a cute cottagecore bag or something like that. Or you could make something yourself. Like people could notice that you're talented from looking at you. That's something I'm getting. People are really drawn to the details of you and how everything comes together. Some of you, if you have visible tattoos, people could stare at your tattoos. They could be very intrigued by the artwork, or they could be trying to work out what your tattoos say, if there are words or something like that. Or like, you know, if you have a tattoo on your arm, let's say, and you're wearing like long or mid-length sleeves, but a bit of the tattoo is poking out, people could stare like trying to work out what the picture is or something. Like if it's partially covered up, you could notice that a lot. But even if you don't, like I feel like something about you is very artistic. So the way you put your outfits together, your hair, you look like someone who would be artistic or who would be good or talented at something. People will literally just look at you and think like, yeah, Pal 5 will be good at XYZ without even knowing you properly. It could be something that somebody compliments you on. Like if you have a bag with you that's very unique, you could just be like, oh yeah, like I made this bag, like I crochet or I knit or something like that. So people stare at you because you've got talent. Or, you know, I think like we said earlier, even with your voice, people might hear you speak and they might think like, oh, you would be such a good singer, or you would be amazing at performing, because there's something very expressive about you. It's almost like your creativity leaks out of you in these subtle ways. Then with the 2 of Swords clarified by the 4 of Cups, this is definitely that steady, grounded, and slightly stubborn energy coming through. You guys, you're not easily swayed. You don't rush decisions. You don't jump into things just because you feel like pressure from other people. I feel like you actually take your time. You tend to like sit with things and you process things properly. And for some of you, I'm getting this specific message. There could literally be a situation you're in right now where it feels like a bit of a stalemate is what I want to say. Like maybe you and someone else, as just one example, this won't apply to everyone, but if you and someone else are like not speaking, or if you're waiting for a message or a phone call or to like see who's going to crack first, you come across to them, they're staring at you because you appear like calm and unbothered and like you're taking your time and like you're not unsettled by it. And I feel like it could be driving this specific person mad because I think they're staring at you trying to figure out like what you're thinking, what you're feeling, or where they stand with you, and you're not really giving anything away. But it's not in a sort of cold way. It's more like, you know, I'm not rushing myself. I'm not putting pressure on myself about this. And I think it confuses people because they're asking like, why is Pal 5 so chill? Especially if this person is feeling like restless or impatient or in a rush. And it's not that you don't care, but I just feel like you guys process things slowly and properly. Like you need that time for stillness. You guys don't tend to act out of impulse. You act when it actually feels right for you. But I think to other people, that calmness kind of makes them more fixated because they can't get a read on you all that easily. I'm also getting this energy, and this specific person we're talking about, it doesn't have to be a romantic interest, although it could be, but it could be like a friend or something. But I am getting this feeling of somebody being bored when you're not around or because you're not around. And I'm getting someone looking for you. They're like, okay, but where's Pal 5? It could even be something as simple as like if you've been off sick from work recently or something, maybe your friend at work is like, oh my god, it's super boring without Pal 5, and every morning maybe they're like, oh, is Pal 5 going to come in today or are they still off sick or something like that. Like they're looking for you walking through that door because everything is boring when you're not around. Like they're really looking forward to seeing you again. It could just be something as simple as that. But in some cases, it could be somebody like staring at you to try and get a read on you because you come across as like nonchalant, and they are they're chalanting very, very hard. Like, and it's kind of a stalemate. Like nobody wants to give in first. Like it's a thing of like, oh, who is going to speak first? But I feel like it's not going to be you because I think you guys are kind of stubborn, and I think they might know that about you. So yeah, but it's like this specific person. It's something where other conversations are feeling flat, or they're bored, like they have other options but they don't want the other options or something like that. Because with you, you know, especially with the Empress energy, you guys bring life to things is what I want to say. Like you bring warmth and creativity and abundance, and without you things just feel a bit dull. And yeah, like with that Empress clarified by the Page of Wands, I feel like this is just your energy summed up really, really perfectly. You have got that Empress energy where you are like soft and abundant and nurturing, and you don't chase things. That's the thing. I think that's what I was thinking of when I said like you're not male-centered as one example. Like you know your worth, you know you have other things going on, and you don't chase anything. You let things naturally come to you because things do come to you. Opportunities, people flock to you like honey. And I feel like that's another reason people stare at you. They're like, Pal 5 must have something amazing going on because everyone and everything is attracted to this Pal 5 person. It's like you guys create the right environment for things to grow, and you give things space instead of like forcing things. And it's that sort of slow, natural, honey-like energy where everything unfolds in its own time. And I say honey-like because I'm thinking of like if you were to pour honey through a sieve versus like if you were to pour water through a sieve, the water would like come through very, very quickly, whereas honey would drip, drip, drip in its own time, like slowly taking its time. And that is you. But then, you know, the Page of Wands, it adds that spark and that excitement and that kind of playful energy. So you're not just like calming and comforting, you also know how to have a hell of a lot of fun. And I'm getting that you're also like kind of inspiring to people. People feel like they can try new things with you, or they can be a bit spontaneous. They can also like unmask a little bit. They feel like they can let go and that you're not going to judge them for it. People feel very, very comfortable with you very quickly. And I also feel like you guys, you give this vibe of honoring this childlike, curious part of people. You allow people to feel safe just being themselves, but you also make people, just feel like excited to enjoy life. And I feel like that combination is what really pulls people in. You kind of feel like home, but you also feel like an adventure at the same time. And that's why people stare at you. All right, Pal 5, that's what I'm getting for your reading today. And that's where I'm going to leave you today, my loves. If this reading resonated with you or if you enjoyed it, please do me a massive favour and please like, comment, hype, share or subscribe. Honestly, any one of those things helps a small channel like mine out more than you could ever know, and I really, really appreciate it. On a personal note, I love hearing from you guys, so feel free to let me know what resonated, or let me know which pile or crystal you picked, or just leave an emoji. All of that helps me more than you could ever know, and you can never overshare too much with me as long as it's done so with kindness. But yeah, thank you so much for being here. I hope you enjoyed this one. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one, Pal 5.